welcome, guys and gals, maybe, into the Living Deadwax podcast. I am your host, Ty, for this adventure, and I am joined by my co host, Tyler. Tyler, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great, brother. Doing great. The night keeps
Yeah.
rolling on. Got a really
Yep.
loud plane outside right now, just as you said that. So I don't
Uh,
know if you can hear that, but there's
I
that.
could.
But
Yeah.
all right, there we go. Love it. But feeling good, feeling great, ready to get started here on our year long favorite pickups.
Yeah, just kind of a year end review. That's what we're doing tonight. So we're just looking at favorite releases, and they may or may not be current albums. They may or may not be like stuff that came out this year, but it may just be stuff that we picked up.
Yeah.
So, and we really enjoyed. So that's kind of, but there is maybe some current releases in here too. So it's just kind of a year end, like collecting review, and maybe we'll recap some of our favorite releases from the year as we go. So,
Love it.
anyways, guys, if you're new to the podcast, welcome in. If you are returning, welcome back. We certainly appreciate it. Before we get going, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below what have you been picking up this year. We would certainly appreciate it, and it helps out the channel. Believe it or not, it does. We passed 10 subs. Tyler and I were joking about having a 10 sub celebration, and we passed it. Like we're at 11 now. So
All
we'll
right.
probably lose a couple subs, but then we could do the 10 sub celebration.
If you guys want to
So
unsub for a little bit, we can just go back to and then you sub back in a few weeks. We can do it all over again. It'd be good. We appreciate that.
ex- exactly. But anyways, guys, we appreciate you sticking with us and joining in on this train of vinyl and music and all the fun stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. Tyler, you usually kick it off. So if you want to go with your first release, we'll just go back and forth for this. So
Okay.
what?
So what I did here. So these are I guess a double kind of thing here. So the one of my favorite things that I did, or one of my favorite things that was going to happen here in the last couple of years was a band that I was in love with when I was a younger person in high school, named The Format. The Format, they are from here in Phoenix. They actually grew up literally 5 minutes away from where I am right now. Went to Deer Valley, by the way, Ty. So there's that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So Nate Roos, who went on to form Fun, that's his second band, but the first band he was in was called Format. So love those records. The first they have two records out, love them to death, and they made a live record. My favorite thing about the just pre-pandemic world was they announced reunion shows. They broke up in 2008, and they announced reunion shows for 2020. But things happened, and they had to cancel them, and they canceled them again, and they postponed them, and they pushed them back, and they pushed them back, and they pushed them back 2022, and they canceled them. They just canceled
Oh
them.
shit.
They're gonna do at some point, probably. I hope. I don't think it's like off the table. They just haven't scheduled it yet. So they scheduled three stops. They sold out four shows in Chicago, New York, and then they were playing Van Buren here 4 nights straight. And so everything sold out instantaneously. It's the hardest ticket that I ever had to get. Like I tried as hard as I could. I was prepared to spend way too much money or whatever, and I ended up getting really lucky and getting a ticket for cost. And it was great. But I was in line for like 2-3 hours online, like in the queue and stuff. Insane. Anyway, best thing about that came out of it after the cancellations and everything else is they started pressing or repressing some of the records. So I already had. So this is the Format live at the Mayan Theater. This is Dog Problems. Actually, it has on this, and then it also has songs not from Dog Problems on here too. But it's the live release they did back in 2007, put on record. So amazing. Love this record. Love Dog Problems, the second record. Love that a lot. Love the first record too. But put this out, right? So Dog Problems, this is the whole record. But then they also played songs that were not on Dog Problems, and they called it the Encore. So I picked this up last year, and then I picked up the Encore this year. I think they all came out at the same time. I was able to pick it up. I guess it just
Okay.
wasn't out there. So this had all the songs that were not on Dog Problems from the first record, and otherwise, and B-sides and stuff like that. So love this, love the show. It's on their YouTube channel. They put it out on Blu-ray, I think, too, and all kinds of cool stuff. And they put on digital platforms and everything else. So cool stuff. And love these records to death. Love the Format, and I was super stoked to actually be able to pick up the live record to add the collection. I think I have everything at this point. I have a few different pressings of stuff too. I don't think I'm missing any. I'm missing a few 7 inches, I think, that came out in the time. I think I'm missing a couple of those. But in terms of actual releases for live B-sides and the official stuff, like I have everything. So stoked to be able to add these and finish up the collection, and will continue to buy anything that they put out because they're one of my favorite bands of all time. But there you go. So the format live with my theater encore, and the Dog Problems show. There you go. So happy to actually do that. Pick these up super early in the year. So there you go.
So that didn't come out this year. You just happened to pick them up this year.
Yeah. So they came out, and so 2020
Gotcha.
they got pressed, put out in 21, and then I did not get the encore edition until this year. I think Zia had it. They had to have everything, because actually what's funny is that it's not funny, but good maybe. They, since they're from Arizona, Sam, because the format's two guys, it's Nate Roos and Sam Means. Sam runs Hello Merch, and they work with a lot of bands and stuff like that doing their merch. But they're all here in Phoenix, so Hello will do. They'll actually deliver, a good amount of stuff to Zia around here in Phoenix, distribution, and so we'll usually have a lot of stuff in stock that maybe they don't send out to all the other independent stores in the country or otherwise. So typically, if stuff is out there, that'll be at Zia, but just for some reason that just was never there, and so finally was able to pick up the encore, and so that had all the songs from the first record and the B-sides and stuff like that. So
gotcha.
Love it.
That's very cool. I didn't know that show didn't happen.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember when that got announced, and you were stoked. Did that just not happen because they're doing shit? He's doing shit with Fun, and they were just like, we can't get around. So they're just not doing it then.
So yeah, so they're not doing it currently. Weird. There's no like bad blood or anything. I assume so. Next year's 20 years of the band. So if they're going to do it, and given the fact that like everything's back to normal, I would like to believe that they are going to do it next year. If they do it next year, like they can do the exact same thing over again. They'll sell the exact same tickets, like everything. They're not going to lose any momentum whatsoever, because format fans, like in my view, the two format records are better than the two fun records. And in my universe, there's a certain universe where the first record, instead of coming out in 2003, first record came out in 2008, second record came out in 2011. If that universe exists, I think the format are one of the biggest bands for at least a few years, one of the biggest bands in the world. I think that those records fit perfectly in what the mainstream music was at the time in that period. They were just 5 years too soon, and they broke up right before they were going to kind of capitalize on everything. But they're a big influence band. They're a big, like, I love the format. They're a big like a name check band for a lot of other people. And Nate Roos, his writing and the songs and everything else, like everybody loves the songs. So like they'll still sell out all 4 dates every time they put them up. So I hope that happens again.
Yeah,
I'm very stoked. I'm hopeful. I assume that we're always going to get dates here whenever they do decide to do it again. There's no, like I said, there's no bad blood or anything. They just decided to stop pushing because it was rock. It was, I think a lot of it too. I think they talked about it. It was it was locking up people's money for stuff that wasn't really on the books at this point. So like you're pushing it back 3 times, and you can't even guarantee at that point that it's going to happen again. They just didn't want to keep locking up this money for people, and so they just refunded everybody and whatever.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so hopefully next year.
So hopefully it does. Yeah,
some more shows.
Hopefully it does, definitely. All right, let me go on to mine. Some of these I've talked about on the channel before, so I'm not going to go on and on about them. Like if I showed it off before, check out our older videos. That's all I'm going to say. So this first one I have talked about, but I had to put it in there. It just came out last month. Is Typo Negative's last record, Dead Again. I've showed this off like probably 3 or 4 episodes in a row, but I absolutely love adore this album. They're one of my top 10 bands, and this album might be in my top 10 favorite albums of all time if we ever do that, honestly. So this album was notoriously out of press, and it got back into repress thanks to Nuclear Blast and them working it out with the band. And I'm assuming the old label too, even though it's defunct. It's kind of weird. Like I don't know how you get that shit, but probably an interesting backstory there. But this is on 2000. It's green in bottle green with black splatter. Very cool looking. Sounds awesome. Spins well. It's flat. No warping. just a very, very cool pressing of Typo Negative. Dead Again came out like last month, so had to put it on the list.
Love it. Yeah, see, a lot of these are also things I've talked about before. So yeah, we're just gonna breeze through the ones that we have already established, our love affairs with. So there you go.
Yeah.
Next one I'm gonna do. I already talked about this, but whatever. I don't care. Still, just stoked to have it and whatever. But the Whitesnake greatest hits that picked up this year. Stoked. We've already talked about it a couple episodes ago or whatever for pickups. So this, if you didn't watch that episode, I'll give you a little backstory. So the Whitesnake, it's forever. Because I think this actually came out in 2000. Oh, it was this year. I lied to you. Fuck. Okay, I thought it was last year. So it did come out this year. But Ty and I saw it like many a times. We saw it and we assumed because it says revisited, remixed, remastered. We assumed it was a lot of re-records, which we are very against. We don't want to have. We don't want to have re-records. We don't celebrate the re-record. Even though we understand why they do it, it's just not for us. We're not going to spend money on the re-records. So regardless. So once I found out that it's not that way, these are all original tracks, and Coverdale just went back and tweaked a little bit and added some old stuff that wasn't on the previous recordings to it. Like, so he didn't really bastardize anything by any means. He added some John Sykes solos to stuff and things that were already recorded way back when. I was in on it. So I picked this up from Amazon. Amazon had it on sale, I think, for like $23, $24, something like that. It's usually going for about 30, 35er, I want to say. So pick this up. Love it. Love Whitesnake. These are all the songs. Every song that you want, all the big singles, big videos, all that stuff are all on here, obviously. The 87 records, slide it in. All the big records are all represented pretty nicely. And it goes all the way up until, the newer records, the new releases. So Forevermore is on here. That's one of the newer records. So
nice.
Super sick. Love it. There's also a red pressing, I believe, that Walmart has. So if you decide you want to pick it up and you want to get some colored stuff, Walmart has the red, but I just have the generic black. So there you go. Whitesnake greatest hits.
Yeah, I still need to get that. So I might just get the Walmart, I guess, if I ever see it. Or I need to get it. I need to get it before it ends up being that weird thing, and it ends up being hundreds of dollars for whatever fucking reason. So
yeah, because we talked about it, because the cool thing that Whitesnake did, because Coverdale did a lot of stuff for the pandemic or whatever, he just went back and looked at a bunch of shit. He released the Purple record, which is the deep purple stuff. He released this Whitesnake or whatever. He released the Love record, which is all the love songs. And he released the Rock record and the Blues record. So he put all those records out there, and they're just like, they're still the songs. They didn't re-record anything. It's just compilations, basically, of those kind of themed songs. So all the love songs, the rock songs, whatever, right? So, like, Ty and I didn't know that at the time. We assumed, we didn't look at the backstories here. We assumed just re-records or, like, whatever the hell, all that stuff. Yeah. But now that we know that, we know what to look for. And so now the Rock record is something we both want, because obviously Snake, heavy guitar rock band, you want the Rock record. So the Rock record is sold out everywhere and is money. So we are not going to buy that anytime soon. But yeah, it'll become money at some point. So avoid that.
I'd be interested. I didn't know that Purple record was Deep Purple stuff. So it's him covering Deep Purple stuff?
No. So I think, hold up. Let's just see. Hold on. Let me give you the proper deal here. Hold up. Whitesnake.
Because I would love to have that, even if it's covers. Because I don't think he doesn't have any rights to any of that stuff.
No. Okay, so Purple record is the 12th studio record by hard rock band Whitesnake. It contains remakes of songs from Deep Purple, band lineups from Mark III and Mark IV.
I'm into that.
Was the guy?
See, I'm into that remake. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like it's not Whitesnake. I understand it's Coverdale in Whitesnake, but it's not Whitesnake.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not Whitesnake just redoing their own songs. So that it's a totally different band. So it's kind of just cover versions. That I'm into that. And I didn't know what that was. So I definitely want to check that out. But that's probably hundreds of dollars, probably, right?
No, I think the Purple's still out there. I want to say we've seen it. Maybe not super recently, but we've seen it, a little bit recently here. I want to say that's a thing. But the Rock record for sure is gone. The Love record, I think, is probably getting there. So Purple record is 65 on Amazon right now. So it's getting there. And then the Rock record, I want to say, is $100 and something. And then the Love record is similarly.
So I got to get on that, basically. All right. All right. Here we go. Goth on the White Snake. The white you bring out the White Snake, it just runs into the tangents. So
Yeah,
let me.
good times.
All right, let me get to my next one. Let's do this. I don't think I've talked about this on the channel. I might have in a vinyl pickups, but I think it was before we were splitting them up. That is Def Leppard Adrenalize. This is a Spanish OG pressing from '92 when this came out. So pick this up at Zia Camelback, and this was randomly. I always look in the Def Leppard, even though there's never anything in there, and it's all overpriced. And randomly decided to pick this up, and Adrenalize. Not my favorite record, but it's a
When you see it, though,
Spanish pressing, and yeah, it's an original. So
yeah,
I want to say it was
we've
like
talked this
$20
before.
too. So
Yeah, it was $25, something like that. And we
mm.
talked about this, and you just said Def Lep's getting really hard to find. Like,
It's just getting
so they
expensive.
did the represses. Yeah, they did the represses for Pyromania. Just did that. You can find Pyromania. You can find On Through the Night, and High and Dry. I think is out there too, but they're all the represses. Hysteria and anything post Hysteria, obviously, besides the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's basically impossible. Like, Hysteria, you told me, like, you looked it up. Like, even like fuck copies of Hysteria are $45.
Yeah, they're $45, $50. Even the repress is hard, which I fucked up because I totally forgot. The Rock This Town, they got a stock of Hysterias.
Oh wow!
And I looked them up on their website, and I think they were like less than 40, and I just completely forgot to fucking order it. Or it was like I didn't want to drive all the way out there or something, but I was gonna order it and just pick it up later, and I fucking completely spaced about it until we just started having this conversation.
So
So
is it gone now? You think? Is it confirmed gone?
let me go on there.
Let's just see. Yeah, because so the Hysteria, the double LP repress that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a really cool pressing too. It's really nice double LP 180 gram, and obviously Hysteria is personally my favorite Def Leppard record. And I have a few different copies of it, and that's
still showing in stock.
There you go.
$40. So I got a 40. So I think that's a pretty good price. Because go ahead and I'm gonna look it up on Discogs. I don't. If you want to keep riffing on Hysteria,
yeah.
I
don't know if the repress happened because that was out there for a minute, like because they did the 30-year right, the 30-year pressing. That was the anniversary press. So it was out there for a minute, but not very long. And I don't know if they pressed a bunch of them. It wouldn't surprise me if they did another run of it. But
let me see.
I don't know, man.
Last one was 2017. So that was the 30th. Let me see here, because they're both. Looks like these are both the same. I don't know why there's two.
Okay.
There's one for sale for one of these listings.
Okay.
And that is not even new, and that's $50.
Okay.
And then let's see here. There's another one. They must have because this is a little cheaper. Because there's some people charging like 40 plus shipping, and there's some people trying to still get like $100.
So they don't know, maybe.
Yeah. So maybe there was some more that dropped randomly.
Okay. So
I don't know, but it's not a different listing though.
Okay, so on Amazon right now, ship from sold by, it's $28 on Amazon. So
from Amazon?
Yeah.
So they did
sold by, shipped by.
They must have did the same thing, but it's from the same plates, I guess, because it's not under a different listing.
Yeah.
On Amazon.
Ooh, so their deal on Hysteria right now, they're doing a run. It's 24% off. So it was $38. Now it's $28. Pyromania was $25. It's $24. Adrenalize is on there as well, $21.
Mm-hmm. Well, that one just came out. The Adrenalize just had a 30th anniversary. The one I showed was the OG though.
Yeah. And then High and Dry also 27 to 25. So and then On Through the Night as well, 29 dropped to 24. So Amazon has the Def Leppard right now. They're all showing shipping after Christmas though. So
gotcha.
Unfortunately, if you buy it, you're not getting it, not putting it under the tree. But you'll get it soon.
I got to get on that though before it shoots up again because it was healthy up there. Like OG pressings are still like for they got some that are VG on here that they want 55 plus.
Oh, God damn it.
So I got to get on that. But yeah, that Adrenalize never that the first time it was ever on vinyl was that one they just did in the
Yeah.
US.
That's
So
see.
yeah.
I wonder. So we never talked about this before. I wonder why. Why did vinyl still? Why was vinyl still alive internationally, but not really here in the States? Like, why did it die here?
Well, I think it died in Japan because like Japan adopts new technologies pretty quickly. So I know
Yeah, because they're the
CDs
ones
still
who develop it.
sell in Japan.
Wow.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I know because Europe, a lot of metal bands obviously still got metal pressings or still got vinyl pressings over in
Yeah.
Europe. I know you can find like I have a couple Brazilian and like Spanish pressings of shit. That's a Spanish pressing Adrenalize that didn't come out in the States. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a
Like
good question. Maybe it's just later. People are later to adapt because CDs are probably more expensive. It's like
maybe
not as
like the
many people are buying CDs and
because a lot of
they're
stuff that we
general.
buy, like a lot of '90s vinyl, you'll find that there's pressings in Europe and Spain,
Mm-hmm.
in Argentina, in Brazil, like you said, in
But not here.
Mexico, but not here. Yeah, so it's very weird. I don't know. Like I know, like obviously the massive records there was original pressings that we very rarely see of like let's say Nevermind or like Black Album or the grunge records later on. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's obviously pressings of those, but they're very few and far between here in the States. But internationally, like yeah, I know you can get the original Guns cover over in Europe because that was the cover. It never got pulled. So you can get the original Guns cover for Appetite
No.
over in Britain for not I mean not cheap, but not really that expensive, especially
Mm-hmm.
not the same price you're paying here. Because the price you pay here obviously is skyrocketed
It's way
because
more
they
rare.
actually yeah it's way more because they actually got pulled. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. It's weird. Maybe somebody smarter than us can dissect that. But there you
Yeah.
go.
I'm sure it's just the economics of things. I'm sure it has something to do with that, and just like
Yeah,
different cultures not adapting newer technologies. Because we adapt new things pretty quickly here. We
yeah,
eventually circle back and go back to
yeah.
all the old stuff. But
No, totally, 100%.
so, but yeah, if you want to get into your next one, I just showed Def Leppard Adrenalize. So
Yeah.
Tyler's up next
So
with
I talked
his.
about this last week. I didn't show it, but I talked about this last week for our lyricists. But the 10-year anniversary pressing for the Horrible Crows Elsie came out
Oh, okay,
this year. One of my favorite records of all time. Listen
nice.
to it once a month or so. And this, I believe, is on Red. No, I do. There's a few different
Just
copies of
black.
this. No, this is on
Oh,
a
okay,
silver
silver. Cool.
concrete. Yeah. So I think red was the limited variant. I know I original one is red, so maybe it's not. I don't know. But there was an original variant they put out there that sold out almost immediately. I tried to get that one. I forget what it was now, but I missed out on that one. So I just got the more popular web store exclusive. And this is still in stock. I actually looked at this a couple weeks ago. They still have these in stock on the Side One Dummy website. And I think there's actually a few at Zia too, actually, right now at Thunderbird. But I love this record. It's one of my favorite records of all time. If you're into the Gaslight Anthem, this is Brian Fallon, the lead singer. It's a solo project, or I guess with Ian Perkins too from Gaslight Anthem. Touring member, figured that out last week as well. But yeah, so if you're into Gaslight Anthem and you're into like singer songwriter, more mellow, just whatever rock and roll, would recommend the Horrible Crows. And I think this is out of like 700 or 1,000 or something or other. But yeah, Horrible Crows, Elsie, loves record to death, one of my favorite of all time. Would recommend this to anybody, and would recommend everybody look it up. Go watch Behold the Hurricane. That song is one of the best ever. Last Rites, fucking incredible. And they also had a live record that came out after this. I forgot about Live at the Troubadour,
Hmm.
and they cover Katy Perry, Teenage Dream on there, and very very cool cover. So there you go,
Interesting.
love it.
Do you like the fact that they put here? I'll leave you big. Do you like the fact that they put? Hold it up again. Do you like the fact that they put 10 year?
No, I don't.
Okay, I neither do I.
No, I don't. No, I
I
don't
hate
like
that
that.
shit.
So I would prefer that they don't like. It's the same reason I don't like. I think we talked this before. I don't like. So for example, this is very, but whatever. So when you buy certain like things for like television shows or whatever, like vintage things or some shit, or like fake new vintage things like mugs or something. Like if you're so for example, if you tried to buy because Brittany and I tried to find forever they don't exist mugs for Luke's, which is the coffee shop in Gilmore Girls. Tried to find a Luke's coffee mug, just like the show, but it always says Gilmore Girls Luke's on there, and it kind of name checks the show. I don't like that. I would rather just say Luke's, and then people just find out what it is. It's like Duff beer. If you bought a Duff beer and it says Simpsons Duff beer on it, just stupid. Like I would rather you just have it be the way it needs to be, and like that, just do another pressing of that, and you can have it have a sticker on it or a hype sticker, or you have a completely new fucking cover art and everything else, but you don't have to press it with 10, 20, or 30 or anything like that. Like Metallica, like they just did their whole run with all the box sets and all that stuff. Like they did big box sets, but when they did the represses, they didn't, just their general remaster represses. They didn't do like 20-year anniversary. They didn't do any of that stuff. It was just like, they have the hype sticker. Yeah, the greatest thrash of all time. That stuff.
You're just fucking with the original artwork at that point, but you're not even doing anything to it. You're just putting another word on there. So I just thought that was funny. That was on there.
Also,
all right. Let's move on to something I haven't shown off, but did come out this year. And this is Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. Pretty cool little album. Really enjoy it. I mean, it's more Megadeth. They're not rewriting the book here, but it kind of captures a good vibe of all Megadeth to me. Like, to me, this kind of captures early Megadeth. It captures 90s Megadeth and is a good representation of everything. Whereas the records that kind of came out before this, like Dystopia, is a really beloved record. I do enjoy it, but not as much as most people. And to me, that record, like, it's just a little too on like just the thrash side, kind of like Megadeth when they got a little melody too. So I mean, I like Countdown to Extinction quite a bit in Cryptic Writings. So like I like when they dabble in that, and this record kind of captures all of that. So I do appreciate that. This is there is a lenticular cover variant of this. I think and I know there's a Walmart pressing, but I don't know if there's any difference on there. So let me go bigger here. Show off the gatefold. There is a cool gatefold, got all the guys in there. So very cool.
Oh, nice.
And there's the hype sticker there.
All right.
We'll Be Back was the big single that came out. That's a fun song. Honestly, We'll Be Back's a cool song. Night Stalkers is a really cool song. That's the Ice-T intro on there. Nice. Mission to Mars is a really stupid song, but it's really fun. Like the lyrics are absolutely dumb, but I enjoy the song just because it's a fun song. Soldier On's a cool song. A lot of cool stuff on here. Dogs of Chernobyl. I think we did talk about it on an older episode. That's a cool song. It's written about the dogs that got left behind in Chernobyl. So kind of a interesting thing to write about. I wish they would just go back to artists like painted covers. This is a cool cover, but imagine how cool this would look if it was painted like in the Ed Repka style.
100%.
Just be fucking sick. So
because Megadeth had some of the best metal covers of all. I mean, the best covers of all time. They had really, really, really sick covers, like we talked about before. If they could go back to that style, it'd be perfect. So there's 3 pressings of this. Lensica Clever, like you said, that's another one, and then they have the blue, the opaque blue. So you just have the black. Is that what you got?
Yeah, I just have the black one.
Okay. So I assume that if you mentioned the Walmart, I assume that's the Walmart pressing. And there it is. That's the Walmart pressing. So it's Walmart here. It's HMV over in the UK and EMP over in Europe. But it's all made in Germany. And it's got the blue on there and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Did you listen to that album at all?
So I've listened to the handful of songs. I listened to the 2 songs you showed me, the 2 first singles, and then I think I gave a quick run for a couple other songs. I liked it. Like I said, like you just said, because I know you were really hyped on it because I did bring in a lot of stuff that you liked from all the different records. You kind of made it all into one. What do you mean by Dystopia was too thrash? I've never heard you say that before.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I don't even know if that's the correct term. I just like
Yeah.
it's kind of like the same thing over and over again. Like that's the
So
whole
like they're
record.
parodying themselves at a certain point. Like there's like
Not
they're
really
doing too much
parodying
of it.
themselves. It's that they always do that. Like they always overcorrect. Like I think
Okay.
I can't remember the record that came. It might have been Super Collider that came out before that, and
Yes.
everybody hated it. And it was like, all right, we just got to make a straight up
Or was
thrash
it
record.
Super Collider or 13?
It was either one. Both of those
Yeah.
records, not a lot of people liked. I don't
Yeah.
like Super Collider. 13's okay. But anyway, I think they do that a lot. They just overcorrect to where like, all right, let's just make a record that everybody's gonna like. That
Yeah.
nobody's gonna like, nobody's gonna dislike. Everybody will just be like, okay, this is Megadeth, and that's to me,
Yeah.
that's Dystopia. It's a cool
Yeah. Yeah.
record. It's a lot of good guitar playing on it, but like it's just the same. So, like by the time you get over it, it's like, did I listen to any different songs on this record? You know, so whereas that, like, there's distinct, there's heavy songs, there's slower songs, there's good melody, there's spoken word intros, there's all
Yeah.
different types of things. Like Dave's kind of throwing the book at everything again and experimenting,
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
Well, also it's like you think about it, like he had a lot of time to do the record, obviously the pandemic and everything else, and then also going through cancer treatments and having that downtime, and also going through the whole like he might not have been able to sing again or not be able to do a lot of things again. He might have died, the whole thing,
Yeah.
like all the mortality kind of stuff. Really puts a new perspective on things because fortunately he's never really dealt with mortality, like obviously drug addiction and stuff like that, and maybe not being able to play again because of the nerve stuff. But he never had to deal with face on like, hey man, like you have throat cancer and it's not a great deal and you got to go through treatment and all this stuff. So like, no, yeah, it's a very different like atmosphere around the record, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, I don't know if the lyrics are generally different. Like everything's typical, probably Megadeth-ish lyrics, but
Yeah.
I think the way the record is written, it's more experimental and less
Yeah.
like, well, let's just make a record that all the Megadeth fans will like.
Yeah.
Instead, let's make a record that we like.
Yeah.
The band themselves or Dave.
Is there any direct comparison that you would make to any other record? If you like this record, then you'd like this record, kind of thing.
It's really tough, man. I don't know because like I would say if you like more melodic Megadeth, like if you're into Countdown or Cryptic Writings, you'd probably dig the record because there is a lot of slower songs on there. But there are some heavy songs on there. Like We'll Be Back's a pretty heavy, fast song. So, honestly, I think if you dislike the record, you're really just fucking nitpicking at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and you just want them to play just Dystopia, just play fast and play technical thrash.
Which Dave can do a million times over and still does it to this day, and it's still like that's the
No,
one
that's
thing
my
that
point,
I
yeah.
like. That's one thing I like Megadeth a lot. Like Dave's vocals obviously have ebbed and flowed throughout the years because I mean he gets older, everything else. And he was never a great vocalist. Like he was a thrash metal vocalist. He was never a great vocalist necessarily, but he did what he did really well. But the playing, like the musical playing of all the songs, like it's never suffered. They've always sounded great. His guitar work has always been fucking top tier, and he's always had some of the best dudes in the scene ever in the band. So he always picks good players, and it just everything always sounds great. The only thing that ever is a question is the vocals, which at this point, getting older, like me and you, like I think when we were younger, especially, would talk shit about dudes like and their vocals and stuff. And as they get older, like, why the fuck are you keep doing this shit and everything else? But like, as we've gotten older, like, it is what it is. You got to accept certain things. Like, as you get older, like,
to certain extents. Depends on the person.
Like,
Vince Neil? No. I don't give that motherfucker any benefit of the doubt. Sorry. Fuck that.
Well, when it's so blatantly obvious that you don't give a shit, and you're not attempting anything, you're just stealing money at a certain point. Like, when that's what it is, different story. But when you're like going through like treatments and things, and like Axl, for example, like people can talk what they want to say about Axl's vocals, but like the first 8 songs of the set are always great, and then he just kind of peters out, and then he gets more Mickey Mousey and stuff or whatever. But he also, like, even later in the sets recently, from what I've seen from videos stuff like that, he's able to touch on the old classic sound because he kind of like builds it up, and he has spurts of the classic stuff. But like, you're not going to sound the same forever.
He also he looked bad at one point, like the VMAs, like when they were getting back together or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he looked awful. But he looks halfway decent now. Like he looks like he kind of cares. Whereas Vince Neil doesn't give a fuck. Vince Neil doesn't care. You can tell he's there for a paycheck. He does not give a shit. Like
Yeah.
you watch videos of like Def Leppard and them on that tour together, and Def Leppard, yeah, Joe Elliott doesn't sound great, but they all look fucking good, and they all look like Def Leppard. Like it still looks like the same human beings. Whereas with Motley Crue, like everybody else looks pretty decent. Even fucking Mick, like, and no fault to his own, but like Vince just doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. You don't want to fucking try to lose weight. And I say that a person who struggled with his weight in his life. You don't care. I'm also not taking fucking people's hundreds of dollars to be entertained. So like, yeah, thousands, you know what I'm saying? So you just don't, that's my point. Like they're to a certain extent where Mustaine's still a great guitar player. He still looks like Dave Mustaine for the most part, even though I think he cut his hair. I haven't confirmed it, but I saw an Instagram post of him getting a haircut and like hair was hitting the floor. So
like recently, like the last like a week or so.
It was like 2 days ago, I think. So I didn't look that up, but but my point is like Metallica still looks like Metallica. Megadeth still looks like Megadeth. Guns still looks like Guns. Like these legacy acts still somewhat put in effort, whereas like Vince Neil does not give a shit, and I don't respect that at all. Like that irks me to no end. It'd be one thing if you sounded the way you sound, which you sound awful, and you don't even sing the lyrics anymore, but you also just look bad.
Okay, I really hope that Dave didn't cut his hair because he has no reason to. Dave has a lot of fucking like it's not like Lars where like you eventually had to call it. Like look at this video. Like Dave's hair is plentiful.
I don't know if he was just getting a haircut and that was he was trying to troll people. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Also, we've talked this before with Def Lep. That one example, Def Lep. Joe Elliott never sounded like that ever. He because with as great as his records sound, it's a detriment to Joe Elliott because when you went and saw Def Leppard, the vocals were never going to be there because there's like 90 tracks on those vocal tracks.
Exactly.
And so like Mutt Lange just made it so fucking great. And so he was never going to sound that way, but he sounds as good as he possibly can, especially as like a 62-year-old man at this point. He's going to sound as good as he can, but Vince Neil is, and for example, for another thing, Paul Stanley, like it's a whole nother thing where they're doing backing tracks and they're just lying about it and like whatever the hell. I
respect Kiss more because Kiss still does the stage show.
That's true.
Like Motley Crue does as well, but like it's Vince Neil trying to do the stage show, whereas Kiss still looks like fucking Kiss. They still almost, with the makeup and shit, they almost still look like the same dudes. So like, I don't.
No, 100%.
I give them a little bit more benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, everybody else in Motley Crue, everyone else in Motley Crue looks like Motley Crue. They look the same as they looked forever, which is again good for them. And like you said, Mick, even with all of his struggles, looks as good as Mick Mars looks and would look today. Like, and he's now retired or whatever. Now they have John 5 in there. But like Nikki, especially, that's what me and you always talk about for fucking our entire lives. Nikki Sixx picked a look in 1985 and didn't go off that look.
Exactly.
He stopped dyeing his hair when they broke up. He went gray, which is really weird and kind of made things really awkward. But he looked like Nikki Sixx. But since he keeps dyeing his hair now, he looks as young as he ever did. He looks great. And Tommy Lee looks like Tommy Lee forever. So that's good for him, whatever. But yeah, Vince allowing himself to go, he just let go of everything. He let go of his voice many years ago, even though his voice was never great. But his voice is gone. His body is giving up on him, or he's giving up on his body, whatever, right? Like, it sucks. And I say that as a Motley Crue fan. We both are Motley Crue fans. We're not like, we're not, deep cut Motley Crue fans. We love all the songs. We love all the songs you love. We love them all, man. We love to go see Motley Crue. But it seems fucking stupid to go see him right now because you're just seeing a, unfortunately, overweight man go around and just mumble the lyrics. And like the Vince Neil interpretation, like the lyric interpretation videos are always great because they're just so absolutely fucking on
hilarious.
The nose. He doesn't sound like fucking, he doesn't sound like he's saying anything. 99% of the time, it's fucking insane.
It's bad.
But yeah, so whatever.
But anyways, guys, I showed off Megadeth, the new Megadeth record. Check it out. If you're into Megadeth, you probably already checked it out, but
we're gonna do a Megadeth ranking at some point, right?
That may happen. Yeah, that may happen in the future. Yeah, that would be a good one for Josh and Colin too. Add both people, so we can go for 5 hours.
Shit, I'll do all the homework. I'll listen to the article. I'll do a lot more homework then for the '90s stuff, especially.
So, what you got?
Right, I'll put this together. So again, showed these off previously, but whatever. I'm stoked to get them. But Slipknots finally got repressed. So finally got the Slipknots. So got the first record they go, and they got Volume 3. So these were out there, for they were out there when we found this out. They got original pressings, and they didn't get repressed again for like 5 or 6 years, 7, 8 years, and they got random one-offs, and then those went for $1 million, and they finally put them all back in press. So stoked to get these. I'm not a huge Slipknot fan by any means, but I like the songs. I like the records. This is I never do that math right, but this is obviously the record that I grew up with because it's the one that for me that's the mainstream one. But obviously, the first record has a lot of the jams on it as well, than Iowa and everything else. But I was stoked to finally get the Slipknots for a good price.
Iowa's floating around out there again, I think, too, because that Rock This Town had restocks of that as well. So
wow,
okay, you want to add that one in too?
We got to add that one, yeah. Well, I eventually I don't want to get all of them. Like, I don't care enough to get all of them, but just the records that, like, I know the records.
Iowa's a giant record, so.
Giant record. Yeah. So, like, get those. I don't need to get, like, All Hope Is Lost or, like, even though I actually did like
Psychosocial.
Oh. Well, The Great Chapter, I liked that record a lot.
Oh, okay. I liked All Hope Is. I liked Psychosocial. Like, that was the single off All Hope Is Lost. I like that song a lot.
Yeah.
The chorus is catchy as shit.
Wasn't it?
Oh yeah. I don't know anything about the rest of that record, but I did like that single. I guess that's the hit off the record. So.
I like the cover for All Hope Is Lost. That's a cool cover. It's just the middle of the cornfield thing or whatever. I like that. But
it is, yeah.
But if I could get like the 6.0 live record or 5.0, 6.0.
Isn't it like 66.6 or some shit? Or is that Subliminal Verses? I know what you're talking about. No worries.
Yeah,
we're doing too many lookups on this.
Yeah, we are doing that. But the 9.0 lied to you. That makes a lot more sense. 9.0. Nice. So the 9.0, if I can get that would probably because All Hope Is Lost is the next record. Probably if I got everything up to 9.0, which is the next record after Volume 3, I think I'd be done with the Slipknots at that point. Even though the Great Chapter, I did like the record a lot. I thought that was a cool the first song off the first single, I forget what it was called now, but I thought it was super cool. So I liked that record. So maybe I'll pick that up at some point. But Slipknot finally got repressed. So there we go. So go get them if you get them in stores, Amazon, whatever. There you go.
Yeah, get them before they're gone.
Yeah, and they will be gone because Slipknot fans are fucking crazy.
I'm gonna go one that didn't. It came out 2016, 2017, but I just happened to get it this year, and this is the 2022. One of the represses that they did. This is a black metal band, Cowed and Brood, American black metal band, Utah, if I remember right. This is on like a kind of it's called they call it Bone White.
Nice. There you go.
It's kind of just like a muddy clear, I guess. This is very epic black metal. Like if you're into fantasy, like a Lord of the Rings type shit, which is funny because I've never been into Lord of the Rings, but everything I like is inspired by all of his writing. So I've always just found that funny. But this is a very cool pressing. I got this off their Bandcamp, actually. They're not doing things anymore. All these guys are in other bands, but they still keep this in press because every time they repress it, it just sells out. So very cool gatefold. I absolutely love the artwork on here. Obviously, this is a painting. I don't think they had it commissioned. I think they probably just probably bought the rights to this or whatever, or maybe not. I don't know. Absolutely great fucking songs on here. What's the fucking Wild Autumn Wind? I want to say like the main fucking like riff part in that with the solo fucking kicks is just fucking excellent. Like I've repeated that part of that because it's like an 8-minute song, but that's like a 2-minute stretch. Like I've repeated that part so many times because this actually went off Spotify for a while and I was so disappointed. And then it came back on streaming and now I own it physically. So I'm stoked about that. This does come with a bonus track, a Summoning cover. And if you know who Summoning is, like this band sounds like Summoning. That's their main influence there. But this is an absolutely kick-ass pressing. These are some of the inner sleeves. Let me go bigger here.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
Just great artwork. Sounds really good too. There's a poster too. There's so much shit. So I was very stoked to get this because it goes in and out of press, and it becomes certain pressings become more expensive. I think there's actually two posters. I remember right because this is one of the band members. It's a 2-man black metal act,
There you
and
go.
this is one of the guys. And then there's another poster I won't pull out, but it's the other guy.
Yeah.
So that is very cool. And then this is the other inner sleeve.
Yeah,
Just
it's very
more cool.
pretty.
Oh yeah, and you listen to this record, it just matches the vibe. It's like you
Yeah.
picture this is what you're getting. So it's not really heavy in your face black metal. It's very atmospheric, very epic fantasy. Like this is picture this and like hear that going on. Like that's
Yeah.
the best way to describe it, I guess. So Cowled
Yeah.
Brood, check them out if you want to. If you want to dabble into black metal, like this is a good place to start.
Yeah. I also love, we talked before, I love the American black metal scene coming back into effect, man. I like that.
I mean, it's not even really coming back. It's like this is the
That never
scene.
happened. Yeah,
It never kind of. I mean, it sort of did, but like this is like the most prominent probably it's ever been, like in the last 20 years, I would say. So
yeah, I like that. Also the cold. We talked about the cold hotbeds, the Colorado, Utah, and I think you mentioned New York before.
yeah, there's a lot of like colder weather states lend itself, just like Nordic, black metal bands.
Yeah,
so.
when you're locked up for multiple months out of the year, I guess is what you get.
Yeah,
There
hell
you
yeah.
go. That's awesome.
All right, what do
so,
you got next, sir?
Again, something else I showed off earlier in another pickups video or whatever. The 30-year, or I guess it's 40-year anniversary pressing of Nebraska by Bruce Springsteen. This is the Vinyl Me Please. This is on the. Again, I've already showed this off, but I'll do it again. I don't care. This is on the Black Smoke.
Yes, that's cool.
Variant. So stoked on that because Bruce is not really for legacy releases at this point. Not really dabbled too far into the colored vinyl variants yet. I do like Nebraska a lot. It's not my favorite Bruce record by any means, but I know for certain people that have certain tastes, it is their favorite record. It's the one that gets name checked a lot because it's his first solo acoustic record, really. So it gets name checked a lot for a lot of different bands for different sounds or whatever. But I love. I mean, obviously Johnny 99, Atlantic City. What else on here? You got State Troopers, another big song. Reason to Believe is another huge song. So stoked to have this. It's on 108 gram vinyl. It's very heavy. It's a nice presentation, and it has the new liner notes by the author of one of the Springsteen's biographies, which we found that out last time we did this. So stoked that we're going to get proper deluxe, I guess, editions, even though there's nothing additional on here at all, but just a proper look at the Springsteen legacy releases. I'm into that. I would look forward to any further deluxe editions or whatever you want to say for the legacy releases. I have all of them. I have everything, many times over. But if we can get like actual real big deluxes for all the records, again, like I have the box sets for Born to Run. I have the box set for Darkness, for The River, for is that it? That all I got right now? I think that is all I got. But I have all those already. And tracks box set and whatever. But I would like more real nice presentations of the legacy releases. And hopefully in 2023, now that Sony owns his entire discography now and all his publishing, everything else, I would assume they want to get that money back. So I'm going to also assume we're going to get a lot more represses and everything else coming out of the camp here pretty quick. So we'll see. I haven't seen any leaks. Usually there's a lot of Springsteen, like, also being a Bruce fan, actually kind of a cool thing a little bit. Like, there's a lot of Bruce fans that are in like the Sony camp. So like a lot of the Bruce fan sites, especially in Italy, there's an Italian Sony rep, like notoriously, that is a huge Springsteen fan that will leak stuff about Springsteen's happenings to the fan sites. So a lot of the Italian Springsteen fan sites are the big one, I guess. They'll post up their like rumblings or whatever, right? And then that'll trickle out to the other fan sites, and then you'll see it posted on Twitter and like Instagram on forums and stuff like that, whatever. And so I haven't seen anything as of yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if 2023 is a whole another round of something. Maybe we'll get the Tracks box set, Tracks number 2 box set. Maybe we'll get another more live records, something or other. So hopefully,
Yeah, they're smart. They're gonna want to make up that investment as quick as possible. If they're smart, you would think so.
I would assume, yeah, because I mean, I don't know how you're going to recover fucking like $700 million whatever Bruce got. So the only way you do that is by putting a lot of shit out there and licensing and syncing and everything else, all the songs. So I would assume we're going to see a lot more.
Yeah, you would think so. Hopefully you do. Did you get the new album or no?
So I saw the new album's still in limbo right now, so I've not gotten it. It is in the indie release is still in stores right now. I can purchase the indie release. I've not done so as of yet, but the web store is still delayed at this point. So I don't know what's happening.
So you ordered it, but it's delayed.
I ordered it on the end of September, I believe.
Oh my god!
And
okay.
so we're going on, a little while.
Yeah, interesting. All right, interesting. I'm just curious because I know we talked that before, and I've been expecting to see that. We haven't seen it, so gotcha.
Not as of yet, so we'll see.
I'll go with this one, the one I haven't shown off yet. A band I really haven't talked about, a band I've been getting into lately, and that's King's X. This is their newest record, just came out this year. This is Three Sides of One. It's one I've only listened to a couple times all the way through, and there's a lot going on. King's X is a band like you either love them or you hate them, kind of. They're kind of one of those bands, but seminal prog band from New York. A lot of kind of cited band, like I love King's X. They're one of those talked about bands in the scene. They're a musicians band, I should say.
Yeah.
And I saw this in Zia, and I'm like, this is going to be. They're on Sony, but Inside Out is the sub label or whatever, the imprint. And I'm like, a lot of the Devon stuff becomes expensive, and Devon's on the same. So I'm like, this is probably going to be money one day. So not that I'm trying to buy vinyl for investment purposes, obviously, but it's one of those things where if I want to get into this, I better buy it now. So yeah. I picked it up simply on that fact. It is a cool record too. Like if you're into King's X, you probably like it. If you're not, it's probably not one I would start with. Obviously, their newest record, but it is very cool, and it's just on black vinyl, so I won't pull it out. But a fun record and a cool band if you want to get into more prog, like Rush type stuff, but not really. But just good prog rock and prog metal adjacent stuff. Something to check out.
Yeah. I know a little bit of King's X. I just know that they get name checked a lot as should have been bigger kind of band. Like, why did this not kind of turn into something more than it was? I also know Doug Pinnick, the lead singer. I know he works with George Lynch a lot. They have a whole band together, and he has a lot of bands, whatever. But he works with George Lynch a lot. I'll listen to some of that stuff because I'm a big George Lynch guy. I shouldn't say I'm a big George. I like George Lynch. I like whatever I listen to. And sure. Lynch, the first Lynch Mob record, fucking cool. I still need to pick that up at some point because it's fucking awesome. It's just really expensive because Friday Music apparently wants to charge you $50 for a single LP non-gatefold record. Don't get it, but whatever. Yeah. King's X, it's supposed to be just one of the things that didn't happen and that should have.
Yeah, cool thing about King's X, I'm pretty sure just like Rush, it's pretty much been the three main guys the whole time too.
I believe so.
I'm almost positive because I know Ty Tabor's been in the band forever, and I know Doug Pinnick. I think they're the two founding members. So I don't know about the drummer situation. I don't know if he's he's bounced around.
Doug Pinnick and Jerry Gaskill, the drummer, they've both been in since '79, since the beginning, and then Ty Tabor came in '80.
So yeah, so it's just like Rush almost exactly.
Yeah,
because Neil came in a couple years after the fact. So
yeah. All right, so Doug Pinn's not the lead singer. So he's not the lead singer.
He's co-lead. He sings a lot.
Lead of the band, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he sings a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, definitely a cool band and a lot of parallels to Rush. So that's why I've always kind of dabbled, and they're one of those bands I want to get into eventually. So. There we go. King's X with their new record. That was one of my picks. So Tyler, what
also,
you got next?
On the members front, the fact that they've had the same three members for 40 plus years at this point, fucking incredible. Just like Rush, they had one guy drop out off the first record.
Yeah,
and then from then, just the same guys forever. So that's a cool thing. So
I know King's X is kind of that. I know King's X have kind of had a lot of layovers, so maybe that's why they haven't done. I think that's their first record in 8 or 9 years. something like that. So I know that does probably help. You're not seeing these guys all the fucking time. So
Yeah.
maybe
Also,
that helps them.
14 years, by the way.
Oh, 14 years. So even longer than I thought. So yeah, it was. I know it was definitely hyped up. A lot of people were talking about it in like the prog scene. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. And
Good on King
it's a
Tech for
fun
the new
record.
Love it. All right, another one I showed off here previously, but I'm still super stoked to get it. The Oasis live at Nebworth '96. Box-ish set. It's a 3 LP. So I'm a big Oasis guy. For the last few years or so, I've been obsessed with Oasis and mostly Liam's solo stuff because Liam's solo records are fucking incredible. I love everything he's done. Noel's stuff's cool too. Like he has a lot more stuff out there with the High Flying Birds is his band. But the Liam solo records from Money are a lot better, and Liam is the voice. So for 90% of the records, for the songs, so love this. Love to finally get this on vinyl. They sold 250,000 tickets for this show. They could have played
fucking crazy.
Yeah, they could have played for a week, 2 weeks straight, and sold out every night. Like there was just so much demand for these. And I watched the documentary about this actually on the plane home from Atlanta, and it's just insane because so I thought it was just the show, but there's an entire documentary that goes along with this that they talk to people that were trying to get tickets and people that went to the show and like the experience and everything else. They showed the news coverage and stuff because at the time the Oasis, the happening in England was Oasis. So like they were a whole new thing. It was the new Beatles kind of a thing, right? Almost like not to that extent, but basically it was kind of getting there. So like just the happening and just the Oasis mania was just crazy. And so they talked to a lot of people that went to the show. They had a lot of footage from that night from the news coverages and interviews and stuff like that from that night. Super, super cool. So if you're into any of the Britpop stuff or Oasis at all, I would recommend seeking it out. I think it's on streaming on I think it's on Prime and on like Netflix and stuff. But would recommend this. Has all the songs you want from the first 2 records. So would recommend checking out. For my money, my favorite Oasis songs are on here for sure. Supersonic. They probably have 3 of the top 10 coolest sounding songs of all time. Like I'll sit on that. Like the coolest sounding song, like some music just sounds cool. Like Zeppelin songs, like there's many Zeppelin songs. They just sound fucking cool. Oasis has a handful of those. Like Supersonic just sounds cool. Cigarettes and Alcohol just sounds cool, man. Like my big thing for 2023, I want to go to a Liam show sometime at some place. Whether he tours here or not, in Arizona, I'm going to make a trek somewhere in the States to go see Liam because I want to go sing and scream and pass out screaming the words to Cigarettes and Alcohol because that's one of my favorite songs of Oasis and probably ever. Love that song to death. But yeah, so Supersonic, Acquiesce, Columbia, Hello, some might say, Morning Glory, Slide Away, Wonderwall, obviously on here, Don't Look Back in Anger, Big Mouth, Live Forever, Champagne Supernova. All the huge songs from the era are on here, and Liam sounds fucking great and it's a cool show. And yeah, so Oasis, Nebworth '96, fucking super stoked to finally get this. So there you go.
My big thing that I want to do for next year potentially, and there's rumors that he is touring in the States, he's doing a lot of Europe dates, is Peter Gabriel.
I knew that.
That's my thing. Yeah, I
awesome.
definitely want to. Yeah, that's my like bucket list thing to cross off because I don't know how many more chances I will have to see him. So
yeah, he's got to be pushing 70 at this point, right?
Yeah, you're getting up there. Anytime you get to that age, unfortunately, anything can happen. So
exactly.
I will go to my next one. Probably still one of my favorite bands of all time. I did show them off in the most recent vinyl hauls, but this is their newest album. This is Behemoth with Opus Contra Naturum. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
You know what it means?
I don't. I know. I have no idea. I could be saying like the worst thing ever. Something obviously it's Latin, something. I don't know. Very cool cover. Not my favorite album of theirs, honestly. I do like this whole motif that they have going with their 3 most recent albums where they're doing the black and gold. I do appreciate that. So yeah, they got that whole black and gold scheme going and everything. That. All this is embossed. And they do these cardboard kind of sleeves now, which is cool. They've been doing the same thing with every release. The record is fine. not anything that really grabbed me. I've listened to it 3 or 4 times now. Honestly, like the 2 previous records way more. So I don't know if Behemoth kind of changes things up every 3 or 4 records. So I don't know if they just need another changeover for me. There's a couple cool songs on here. Honestly, what was the big single? The big single was Off to War, and I just didn't grab me a lot. Once Upon a Pale Horse, that's a really cool song. A lot of really cool bass in it. This is just on the black. There's a bunch of different variants, but here's the inner.
That's awesome.
Gatefold. Yeah, they do so much money in their stuff, and they always do so many different variants and shit. And got a giant book, all the lyrics and shit. So that is very cool. If you're into presentation, they fucking nail it.
For sure.
And they always put money into it. So that is their newest record. Came out this year. And honestly, like if you want to get into Behemoth, it's not the record to start with. But if you're into the band, it's probably either hit or miss with you. So yeah, I didn't just want to start with. Oh man, that's a good one. Like if you want to get
viewers who wants to get into Behemoth, what do you recommend right now?
Dude, that's tough. I don't know. If you want to listen to like newer, The Satanist, that's really obviously a great record. If you want to listen to more death metal stuff, I would go with probably Demigod. So probably one of those 2 records. It's depending on what era you want to get into. And then if you want to get into the early black metal stuff, just really any of those first records, they're all kind of the same-ish. So yeah, tough question, but fun record, just not my favorite. So I didn't want to talk glowingly about everything, kind of change it up a little bit.
There you go. Going against the current, by the way. That's what the title means.
Oh, okay.
Going against the current.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
Yeah. That's what Nergal said the title means. So maybe that if you want to listen to the record back again and think about that's the title of the record, maybe that'll bring it all.
I think I did read that interview. For some reason that rings a bell.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Also, Ty and are fucking suckers every single time we see it. Embossed raised covers.
Embossed covers, yeah.
Yo, I love Power Slave just because
the texture.
Without listening, I've listened to the record twice in my entire life. Just because of the texture and the embossing, the raised cover and everything, fucking, if you're a band that wants to do that, because it's more money, it's more thought, it's more effort putting into your physical presentation. If you do that, I feel like your band, like you're next level. Your band that's just a little bit higher above than some other ones because you obviously give a shit. You paid more, you paid more attention also to your presentation than you give a shit. So it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Ty and I both very big suckers for the embossed raised covers, so love it.
100%. So what do you have next up?
So another thing I got this year that super stoked on. Didn't think we were gonna find this for a good price, but then we did. The Skid Row Atlantic box set. So originally came out was $200, $215, something like that, some crazy amount of money. So when we saw that, we were like, we're not gonna buy that ever, right? And honestly, like for my money, I just want the first record. So I had not really listened. Well, hold on. So I had not really listened too extensively to the other 2 records, to Subhuman Race, to Slave to the Grind.
Yeah.
I had plus the live record and everything else. I had not really listened to those too much. So the first record is where I listened to it a million times, and I have, and it was actually this year after I got the box set. I think 2 or 3 Skid Row songs were my top 5 or top 10 on Spotify. So really celebrated the Skid Row this year. So I ended up getting this on Amazon for 70 bones, I think it was. I mean, you were there. I think it was $75.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, fucking great deal. And I had $50 from a gift card, and then I was like, all right, so $25 of my monies all day. So got this and super stoked on it. I know people have talked about before, like the various qualities of the records or whatever. I've listened to the whole box set. I put this whole thing on and I listened to it maybe like a month or so ago. And I went first record, second record, third record, and then live records and EP. Listened to everything. And I mean, for my dumb ears, I'm cool with it. I like the way that it sounds. I'm sure that people that are a lot smarter, a lot more, sophisticated in their hearing, maybe can hear differently. For my money, super awesome. And also, I had not gotten into Slave to the Grind or Subhuman Race. Ty had jocked those records for quite a few years now, saying those records are fucking cool. They're heavier, they're metal records, whatever. The first record is obviously it's a hard rock record, it's not really a metal record necessarily. It's hard rock record with those ballads on there and stuff. And so I actually dove into Slave to the Grind, and I fucking love that record. Like, I can't tell you, like, it's first of all, we're talking about that.
There's a lot of good stuff on there, man.
A lot of good stuff on here. Also,
cool cover.
The cool cover.
The Tucking title track's sick. The video's sick too. That shit's really heavy. And that's 92, right? Something like that.
91. Yeah.
That record is like honestly like kind of Pantera-esque. It's not the same groove, but it's got that same vibe.
100%. Yo, Monkey Business, Slave to the Grind, Quicksand Jesus, Get the Fuck Out. In a Darkened Room is the big song, right? That fucking song is so sick. It's so cool. The lyrics, box vocals are next fucking level. I think this is peak kind of the way that his vocals ever were. I think he kept sounding good for Subhuman Race and everything else, like and probably later too. I just never gotten solo records or whatever, right? But he kept sounding good. But for my money, this is probably the best and most dynamic his voice ever sounded, because they were different songs in that first record. They're heavier. It was more challenging for his vocal range, and he was still able to sing too. Just really cool shit. Really, really cool shit on this record. So I'm glad that I bought the box set, because I probably wouldn't have bought these records individually if they got pressed, separately or whatever. I never would have really dove into it, especially considering these probably would have been a $30 bill, probably.
Exactly, yeah.
Individually. So to get them all for $75 and then $25 of my monies, I'm gonna do that every day of the week. So I'm stoked to have this.
That's a good pickup. I'm jealous. Yeah. I should have pulled the trigger, because I don't think it's that money anymore. I don't think it's that cheap.
I don't think it's super expensive, but I don't think it's cheap anymore, unfortunately.
I'd still probably pull the trigger at like $100, honestly, because like you said, I don't think Slave to the Grind's been released outside of that box set. I don't know if there was an original pressing of that in 92. I know there was a Record Store Day pressing that was money and still is money, because I know we've seen it kind of recently-ish, and I doubt Subhuman Race ever had a vinyl pressing.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just thinking about
I have the first record on Friday Music, so I'd just be buying that box set for 2 records, I guess, and the extra stuff that's in there. So
yeah,
but
the EP and the B-sides or whatever, covers and whatnot. Yeah, I was fucking super stoked to get this for
show the back. Show me the back of it again.
Yeah,
it's a cool set, man.
Yeah.
So there's 5 LPs in there, I guess, with the EP and stuff, and
no, so
I guess not.
I guess like literal.
There's 3 LPs, but there's 5 different pieces of vinyl in there.
Releases. Yeah, so like,
gotcha.
So so first records 1 LP, and Slave to the Grind's double LP.
Nice.
Single, Subhuman Races double, and then Subhuman Beings on tour. The tour record, that's a single LP, but yeah, it's fucking cool. So if you can find this for a good price, which I don't know, like I think it'll probably be out there for a good price again, I hope. I would recommend picking it up, because Skid Row, especially this era, like I don't listen to anything anymore, really. Like I don't know anything about anything. But
they just had a new record to drop this year.
They did indeed, yeah. I saw some of the random interviews and stuff. They talked to Snake and Rachel about shit. And they talked to Bach about it too, which is interesting. But yeah, so fucking awesome. If you can get the good price, do it. And Skid Row, don't lump them in to, like, if you're against any sort of hair metal, or if that's your deal, if that's a thing that you're like, fuck hair metal, if that's a thing that you feel, I don't really agree with it necessarily. If that's the thing that you feel, Skid Row is not a hair metal band.
They're not.
Skid Row has kick-ass records. They have kick-ass guitar work. It's box vocals, or it's not hair metal at all. They don't have anything like, it's not really like fun party music, really. It's just fucking kick-ass hard rock, and border on metal record. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's very more Guns N' Roses than it is hair metal.
Very. Yeah, and they opened for Guns on that tour too, on the Use Your Illusion tour, I believe.
Yeah, people just lumped them in with that just because, Sebastian Bach was a pretty man, and then I Remember You was the big single, and that was the ballad. So yeah,
that's true.
Anyway,
Bach was a very pretty man. Very true.
But definitely a good pickup. I got to get on that if I still can. So, all right. Let's move on to something I did show off. I won't talk about it a ton, but that is Queensryche's new record. This is Digital Noise Alliance. They are touring for this, doing a solo tour. They are coming here, so I'm very excited. Marty Friedman is opening for them, and that is in March. So I definitely want to try to go to that. I want to hear a lot of this record played. This is on like a lilac purple, so that is very cool. It's a cool variant. I
I
did
do like that.
I didn't show it off, but I'll show it off again because it is pretty. Here we go.
We
Looks
are
more
all
blue.
about pretty records and pretty pictures and everything else on this
Oh,
podcast.
oh yeah, definitely. Honestly, if you're into Queensryche, check this out. If you've kind of like let go of the band because they don't have Jeff, just get rid of that thought because this record is fucking slays, man. Um, Honestly, my favorite song on here is probably Behind the Walls. It's like an 8-minute fucking epic good prog rock song. This record has a lot of heavy, but a lot of cool prog that they're bringing back and cool keys and stuff too. So definitely a kick ass fucking record. Probably my favorite record this year. That if I had to choose a release for 2022, this would probably be it. So I've listened to this record probably 10 or 12 times all the way through by now. And it came out in like October. So
Does that record, like, I know how you feel about the new Alice in Chains records. You put those up against the classic records with Lane. Would you put that record up against the classic Jeff records? Like, maybe not better or whatever, but you put those up in the same kind of quality.
it's really tough, but probably not. I'd put it below, but it's definitely the best record they've done since Empire.
There you go. Okay.
But I would put everything Empire pre above it,
Like
but
a
it would
one
be
A,
like
one B situation with Empire.
exactly. Yes.
And then obviously this is like a B, like a true B.
100% for me. Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
So, yeah, new
That's
Queensryche, check it out.
Love it. That's cool. All right. So another thing that came out this year that I ordered, I think I ordered it the end of last year and it took forever to come, but I finally got it this year, was the coloring book EP by Glassjaw. So I don't know if I've ever shown this to you. Have I ever shown this to you before?
I've never seen it. You never sent it on the channel. I've never seen it. That's cool.
All right. So this is fucking. First of all, this is fucking horrible. Okay.
Okay. Wait.
Coolest / the fucking worst thing ever. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the record.
Oh, that's sick looking, dude. But it just sits in there.
No. So
okay.
The way this works is it's all pieced together.
What the fuck?
So the outer ring, and then they're all different songs, obviously.
Yeah,
that's the whole EP. So when you order this, you order it like with the color variant or whatever. Like they have 100 with the big yellow God. And like whatever, right? This is much obviously very clearly better in theory than in practice, right? Like they don't really lock in either. So like it's just awkward. And I listened to this once. I've only never listened to it again.
Does the stylus get all weird?
So
because
what happens?
The groove's not locked very well.
No, it lock grooves at the end of it. So like that's not really the weird thing. Luckily, right? It's not like that. That's not a bad thing.
Okay.
They just lock groove at the end of each ring.
And then you got to pick it up and.
Exactly. Then you pick it up and put it on the next one, and then it does that, whatever, right? But it's just very awkward. And like I said, they don't lock together. There's no.
So it's like having a bunch of singles, basically.
Exactly.
That's just kind of interesting.
So
it's cool.
I would prefer it. Like it'd be kind of cool if it all came apart but they lock together, but they don't. So like it's just very awkward, and like I'm sure this thing can break. Like if you really fuck.
Oh yeah.
Break instantaneously. So I don't really take this out very often or take it apart or anything like that. But this is just a 7-inch. So it's just 7-inch. And so they're notoriously, and actually you purchased these for me, they're notoriously, a band that messes around with interesting presentations, if you will. So because you bought these for me many years ago for Christmas or my birthday, I believe, but they had a 7-inch single series that came out for another bunch of songs. And
I remember that.
So there's also rings on here, so they pop into the different rings or whatever. And that's how
gotcha.
But and then it shows you the color right there.
That's very fucking cool, but it's very not user friendly. That's way more of a, just
Not
a collector's piece.
absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I'm buddies with online who has it framed up perfectly, and that's kind of what you have to do. I got to do that at some point. Like I'm gonna get it
Gotcha.
signed, I think, at some point, or try to get it signed, and then just get it fucking framed up. Like that's all I'm gonna do. So like, because I'm not playing this. Like you're not pulling this out. You're not listening to it. You're not enjoying it really. Like, it's a cool EP. The comic book cool EP is really cool. The songs are cool. I saw this tour, I guess,
Mm.
where they were like they did a tour release for it and they handed out the CD copies of it. And I actually have signed over there CD copies of it. And there you got it if you came into the date and they just handed it to you as you came through the door, which is super cool. It was their first tour in like many a year. And so they've had a resurgence. Basically, they put out another record since this and some more songs and EPs and whatever. But yeah, so I'll get this, I think, signed and framed eventually, and that'll be it because this is literally just absolute. It's cool, but absolutely fucking useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're into Glassjaw and into post-hardcore, you know, whatever, from early 2000s, mid 2000s stuff, they're still really cool band, still put on a good show, and still sound really cool. And this is a cool thing to have, but again, like you said, purely a collector's item, not any way, shape, or form something you want to actually listen to. So there you go.
Yeah, I've always been a Glassjaw appreciator through you, and because they've done cool stuff like that. But yeah, sometimes you get into the real niche things. It's just like, yeah, this
Yeah.
doesn't have any practical purpose at all.
Yeah, no. So I mentioned the 7 inches. I forgot my point on that was so the 7 inches you got me. There's a G, at their logo basically. You
Mm,
needed a custom uh center spindle holder. I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah,
the
you need
7 inch.
a
Yeah, the
custom.
whole.
Yeah, you need a custom spindle holder for the actual vinyl to actually go around. So I don't have that. I don't
Oh,
believe. Yeah, I
okay,
don't think I have that. Or am I a cardboard one that was included in there? I forget now.
gotcha.
But yeah, so I can't even play those. So again, purely collector's pieces.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with actually listening to it at all. So yeah, so Glassjaw, very cool, and they criticized a lot because they have a lot of merch, a lot of cool merch, and a lot of expensive merch. And they criticized a lot because they put out way more merch than they do music, and so people just call them a merch
Mm,
company at a certain point. And it doesn't help
gotcha.
matters that Justin Beck owns Merch Direct. That's his merch
Instantly.
company. So that doesn't help matters very much for that argument. There you
Gotcha. Very cool. That was cool. I haven't seen that before. So,
go.
all right, let's move on. This obviously did not come out this year, but I did pick it up this year. So, one of my favorite pickups this year, that's Dream Theater, Images and Words. Their biggest record, one of my favorite prog metal records of all time. This is the music on vinyl pressing. Paid kind of a pretty penny for it, but it was definitely worth it to me. And this came on like a kind of a cool orangish red, so very cool there. And was just stoked to absolutely have it. Obviously, if you're into any type of prog or metal, you know this album. But if not, and you want to get into Dream Theater, this is the album to start with. So, Images and Words. I won't talk about too much because it's been talked about ad nauseum, and I showed it off before. But there we go. One thing I did pick up this year that was absolutely stoked to finally find and actually see in person. So,
There you go. Fucking amen. Yeah, I've been a Dream Theater, like, I guess, appreciator through you and through everybody else. I know everybody in the prog scene. Obviously, Dream Theater is a seminal new prog band, obviously, and they have a million records and everything else out there. And the guys and Jeff Portnoy, no, Mike Portnoy, what? Not
Mike,
Jeff,
yeah.
Mike Portnoy, and everything. Like he's in a million bands and he's one
Mm.
of the best drummers ever and all that stuff. But yeah, so cool to see you finally pick that up. I knew it was not
Yeah.
cheap,
No.
but finally picked it up.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so another thing that came out this year for Extra Day that we got earlier this year was the Doors LA Woman Sessions. This was Extra Day, the number one priority for me, and so we managed to get this. And it's all basically the demos, the run-on session, basically for the LA Woman stuff. And so you get just 18 minutes of start and stop, and all that stuff from a lot of those songs. And maybe most people will be bored by that and they don't really care about it and they don't listen to it. I find it endlessly fascinating. I'm not going back to this a lot, obviously, but
Sure.
just for historical purposes or just kind of for a cool factor, I like this shit a lot. I've listened to this twice, I think, and I listen to it on Spotify too. And I love whenever anybody puts out, the true demos or the sessions or like the jams or whatever, just figuring stuff out. I love those kind of releases because it kind of shows you the genesis to like the completion for a lot of it, and you see like where things twist and turn, where things might have went if they would have kept a certain part of the song together, or they would have done this, done that, all that kind of stuff. And you hear them kind of working out, and you hear the producer Bruce Botnick, he's their engineer, but you hear well, he was pushing this record too, actually. But you hear him go back and forth and say, "I need you to do this. Can you do this? Can we get another one? Can you actually do this again? Listen for this. I need you to come in here." All that kind of stuff, all the directions. You get all that on here. And again, maybe most people would feel like that's just ridiculous and too much. For me, especially for the Doors, I think it's just one of the coolest things to listen to that, especially considering this is the last Jim Morrison record and this is his last recording sessions. So just get as much of that as possible. And it's numbered out of, I think, 13,000, and I got 11,705. And and this is my favorite Doors record too, which helps. And they made this look like the real box. So
Yeah, it's a cool
fucking awesome
presentation.
master tapes. Yeah, I'm a big geek for master tapes. So like whenever any like books, I think Rush has done this a few times. But those big dumb books full of all the fucking shit, because Rush has it and Kiss has it and everything else. Like, I'm a fucking geek for that shit. That shit's fucking endlessly fascinating to me. Just to see master tapes, like the Beatles master tapes, are also a big thing when they did the box sets and stuff like that. There's a lot of pictures of that stuff out there. I just fucking think that's the coolest shit ever, because that's you are literally holding the music. You're holding the music is the famous fucking thing that everybody's heard. Like, this is the first possible fucking thing, and like that's incredible. So just love the presentation, love they did all this, and love the actual release itself. So
yeah, very cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I got a couple other. That was for April Record Store Day, right? That came out. Yeah, I got you. I got one thing that maybe we both have too. I will go with this one. This came out this year too. Another new release by a classic band, Blind Guardian. This is their newest record, The God Machine. Came out. I want to say it came out like almost the same time as the Megadeth, so like September, October. Kind of an interesting story about this cover art. They just found this on Instagram and contacted the artist and was like, "Hey, we want to use your artwork." I was like, "Okay,
interesting."
Cool. Ended up on a Blind Guardian record. I can't remember what variant this is. Let me check a look at it. It's kind of a smoke with black.
Very cool.
So very cool. Cool record. They kind of went back to their roots a little bit on this record. It's a less symphonic and more just straight up Blind Guardian classic power metal, which I appreciate it because their last record did kind of get overbloated a little bit. Marbled vinyl. That's the official variant according to the. And there's the gatefold, just more of the kind of a lazy gatefold, just more of the artwork.
Honestly, artwork,
yeah, exactly. But definitely a fun record. No, go ahead.
The gatefold and the whole in the front cover, the front and back, are they just mirrored then?
Yeah, they're literally the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah,
it's kind of lazy on there, but you do get a giant book, which I do appreciate. So you get the book and you get more artwork and shit in here, and obviously the lyrics and stuff. So that is very cool. Honestly, if you want to check out a song, Violent Shadows is a cool song. I think that was a lead single. Blood of the Elves is a very cool song too. So definitely a cool thing. And you get some different mixes on here. As side D, you get some different cuts of songs on the record. So that is cool. Different extras for the vinyl edition, I'm pretty sure. So Blind Guardian, The God Machine. Check it out if you want to get into power metal, German stuff. Definitely cool record.
I was curious because I know they're an older band. 12th record. That's their 12th studio record. I actually expected more, but
yeah,
still a amount.
Yeah, I know they've gone like 4 or 5 years, I think, between releases.
Yeah. They did Legacy of the Darklands in 19, and then before that was Beyond the Red Mirror in 15, and then before that At the Edge of Time in 2010. So about 4, 5, 6 years between records, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and it looks like the lineup has been pretty consistent besides the drummer since
Yeah.
87, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, you can always
Yeah,
appreciate
that's
that in bands.
So, yeah, stability and solidarity with a band lineup, especially as you get older, it's obviously few and far between for a reason because everybody's lives change. But like when
Yeah.
you see that, it shows you that like they like their priority, for better or worse in some cases, is the fucking band and the music, which is super cool.
100%.
Yeah, I always appreciate that.
Yeah.
Most bands can't say that, but you know, if you have a band lineup for 30 years consistently, god damn, that's 35 years. That's crazy. That's insane.
Always impressive to me.
Always.
That's it.
Especially when bands are the same band members for the entire thing. Fucking Aerosmith, all the same guys for 50 fucking years. So that's just
Yeah,
insane.
I guess Joe just left.
It's true.
But I don't think they got a guy to replace him, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. So there's a few years there. That's true. When they broke that part, but then he came back. But they're still the same members. You know, like AC/DC, they're obviously guys have passed on and they've changed lineups and stuff like that.
For the most part, different drummers and shit. But nah.
Yeah. But you know, it's just very impressive when that happens.
Yeah. You got anything else at all?
Of course, I got more. I got 2 more. How many more you got?
A lot. But I can a
Fair.
lot by one band actually.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about them, so yeah.
There you go. All right, so a band that I got into last like few years or so. They were a big hype band for it's a post-hardcore sound, I guess you could say, from the 90s. This is not my favorite record by them. Actually, their newest record, Inlet, is a fucking really cool record. But this is Hum, Downward is Heavenward. So this record came out in 97. There you go. And I got into Hum because there was a song called Stars that's on the record, You'd Prefer an Astronaut. I remember the Stars song. That's a Josh song for sure. I guarantee it. That's a Josh song.
Oh, okay.
I remember that song because when I was a kid, I would go over to my buddy's house, and his brother was about 5 or 6 years older than us. And I think he was maybe a year or two younger than I was, but his brother was like 5, 6, 7 years older than us. And that's also the first time I ever smelled marijuana, was because his brother was smoking weed in the house with his buddy. And they were a big music band or music family and stuff like that, whatever, right? And they were a skate family. They had a skate park in their backyard, and it was all cool, right? Anyway, also the first time I ever heard Bad Religion, also over their house. Anyway, I heard Stars over at their house, and that was a big single for the band, and that's like their one-hit wonder kind of thing, right? So if you ever want to check that out, super cool song, love it. Anyway, this is the next record. So they're really cool. It's a really full sound, like I don't know if I'd say, I guess post-hardcore. I don't really know all the genres or whatever the fuck, but it's just a really cool writing, really cool guitar work, very loud. The bass on it is super heavy. It's heavy in parts. It's very quiet in other parts. It's like noisy. It's got it kind of hits all the bases. And they also had a lot of the same guys up until recently. Their drummer actually passed away, like maybe 6 months ago. So that sucks a lot. And Matt Talbot is lead singer. He does all the vinyl himself. So he does he's obviously pressed it himself, but he does all the planning. He does all the processing himself. He fucking made sure all the licenses from all the labels and stuff came back, and he was able to retain that for the different records and stuff like that. And so this record was super expensive for a long time. So I think they pressed this maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and those sold out instantly because they have a very popular or very cult fan base, and they're very popular within those certain like little scenes or whatever. And so they got back together and secretly recorded a new record, which is Inlet, which came out last year, which I actually don't have. But that record's my favorite record they ever did. It's so fucking cool. It's so awesome. Was really surprised that I liked it as much as I did. And so I'd recommend checking that out. But anyway, so they finally decided they were able to repress this again. And it was pretty much like, it kind of seems like he's pressing it as much as he can, like with money and everything else and like planning and things, because it costs money to press the records. So like he just once he gets enough money put together, he just presses a new batch or whatever. And this record was going for like $200, $300, $400. And I think Zia right now, Zia has one of it's the exact same pressing. This is exactly the same thing that is up on the top of the wall at Zia as we speak right now. That is like $300. This is exactly the same thing. So it's the same fucking color, the same fucking plates, I believe, the same mix, the same fucking jackets. Everything is the fucking same. So
it's a cool cover. What's in the gatefold?
Yeah, and then just fucking really cool. And then
I knew nothing about this band, so I'm fascinated.
Oh yeah, so definitely, I think if you ask Josh about him, Josh would know about him.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I'm looking on their wiki. Yeah, they're right in that prime period for him, and they're like alternative. They're calling it alternative rock, post-hardcore.
Yeah.
So yeah, they should be up his fucking alley.
Up his alley.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Sure.
Yeah, apparently they had a video on Beavis and Butthead too.
They did. There was like a half a second where like they were gonna happen, and then they didn't. This record didn't hit the way that the label wanted it to hit, and it wasn't as appealing as You'd Prefer an Astronaut. Even though that record's not totally mainstream necessarily, but Stars was a big enough hit. It was on MTV. It was on 120 Minutes. Like they had a performance on there, and like there was a video they played.
Yeah, they were
Stern,
on Stern. Yeah, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. Yeah,
they might have played. They might have played Letterman or Conan too, possibly one of the late night shows. So like there was a half a second where they're going to happen, and this record just didn't deliver like it was supposed to, and then they kind of got dropped, and then they got sucked up or whatever, and then they broke up for many a years, and then they got together in 2021, and then they did Inlet, and that record's fucking super sick. So if you're into late 90s alternative rock or post-hardcore or whatever, would recommend checking out Hum, Downward is Heavenward. Super stoked to pick this up for a great price, and I'm pretty sure it's still in stock at Polyvinyl right now. So if you're into that, check it out.
Very cool. Very cool. Bringing some stuff we hadn't talked about before, so that was nice. I will bring one big thing, get it out of the way. This is probably, man, I don't know if this is the Queen's right. It could be a tough choice. So this is Devin Townsend's new record, a Light Work. This just came out in like September too. A lot of heavy hitters for me at the end of the year, really, like the latter half of the year. I will dive into this box set real quick. So as quick as I possibly can, because I do appreciate a good box set, and I tell you this too.
Of course.
So
love it.
This is the main record. You get a nice double LP.
That's cool.
And is the inner artwork. Let me go bigger here. So you get the artwork there. Love the watercolor.
That's really cool.
Very cool. My favorite record on this part of the record, or favorite song on this part of the record, honestly, Moon People, the lead song is really cool. Call of the Void is really cool. Very cool. Like Devin Townsend is probably could appeal to really anybody, especially this type of stuff. It's very proggy, but very almost singer-songwritery. It's got a lot of synth in there. Just kind of does whatever the fuck he wants. So very cool there. And this particular version comes with the LP, and then you actually get the CDs too. You get a CD and a Blu-ray, which I did listen to and watch, which is pretty cool because there's videos of him playing to it and mixing it too. So you get the CDs and the Blu-ray audio on there. So that is cool. And then you get also a giant book, and this has all the lyrics and artwork for the whole album. And it's cool because this has all the art kind of matches the songs too.
Yeah.
So it's very cool, and it's all like the same watercolor style. And the cool thing about this set is this has the album's Light Work, but this has Night Work too, which has a bunch of extra songs. You get 2 art prints for both of the Light Work, and so that is Night Work.
Got a kitty on there like that.
Yeah, and that's Light Work. So kind of the same picture, but just with Devin up there instead.
That's awesome.
So you get those art prints, and then you get Night Work on LP, which I absolutely love some of these extra tracks too. So this is just on a single LP, and this is on like a yellow,
That's
yellow
really cool. I like that a lot.
gold.
Like an amber.
Yeah, amber. That's a good word for it. Yeah, a lot of cool songs on here too. So there's a lot to dive into on this. This is like the deluxe edition. This is like $100. So
Yeah.
I was super stoked to get that, and I absolutely adore the fucking record, just like all Devin records. So I knew I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna go wrong with it. So
Because Devin stuff gets expensive almost instantaneously, doesn't it?
it does. It does. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I used to have that's a lot of money.
Yeah, because he doesn't press a lot of it. So like once it's gone, it's gone. And then it's just like we talked about before with like Rush records at a certain point. Like once everybody has the records, they're not getting rid of them. Like they have them forever. Like the fans, once they get in the fans' hands, they have them. Like that's what it is.
Most of the time, yeah, unless you're me. So,
That's fair. That's true. So when
but
they
yeah,
come
because
together,
it's
a lot of money.
yeah, I don't know why it's Sony and it's inside out, and it was owned by Sony, but it's also Heavy Devi, which is his own label. So I don't know if that has something to do with that. I don't know if they just do like an initial mass run and then that's it. So yeah, but light work. I definitely recommend it. I would recommend this to Tyler. I think Tyler would actually really enjoy this too. There's a lot of good ambient like synth, like if you want to just relax and chill. This is a cool like chill out record and very introspective too. The lyrics are all he did this during quarantine. A lot of this is about being a dad and stuff too. A lot of cool stuff in here and relationship stuff. Devin's an interesting cat and very talented. And this record, he played everything on this record. The only thing he didn't do is some drums, but all the vocals, guitar, bass, synth is all done by him. All the mixing, mastering, it's all him.
Yeah. So I wonder. So I guess you know more than I do. I just looked this up. So he canceled his tour dates for the record to open up for Dream Theater in Europe. So he originally was supposed to go on tour with that record, and then he canceled to be on Dream Theater's tour in Europe, and then the new record or the new tours for early next year. Has he already announced the dates yet or no?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I have to look that up. That's a good question. Yeah, because I would love to see him. I got to see him like 3 or 4 times, and I would love to see him again for that record because I do adore this record quite a bit. So
yeah. So okay. So another question I have here. So I also recently looked at. Granted, it was about strapping young lad, so very different or whatever the hell. But he kind of struck me, at least in the interview, because they asked him about like strapping, like, are you going to do all that? The same song, right? Same fucking questions and shit, right? He kind of strikes me as somebody that like doesn't want to go like look back ever. Like it's not like he wants to always be like what he wants to do is what he wants to do. He doesn't really want to keep going back to the well for whatever project he's talking about. So I'm wondering if that whether for whatever it's worth, I don't know. It kind of seems stupid, like because money wise and whatever. But like, I wonder if that means he doesn't want to revisit it even in like a physical format, like repressing kind of a thing. Like if he's not.
Yeah, all the strapping young lad stuff just got repressed, which I still have to buy, because I think Century Media still owns all that stuff. Okay. So I think they just re-put all that stuff out, which I do have to pick up. Yeah, as far as his like because there was Devin Townsend Band, and then that stuff's it's all money, and then Project, which I absolutely adore. That's some of my favorite stuff he ever did. That's all money. And then, but yes, you're right. He just wants to kind of move on to the next thing. And now this is just back under Devin Townsend. So there's not like band or project attached to it. So yeah, he kind of just bounces around and does his own thing. But yeah, you're right. I do appreciate the fact that on some of his recent live stuff, like the quarantine live stuff, he did revisit some of these strapping songs and played them live.
Oh, really?
So that was very cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then he had Zoltoid, right?
Zoltoid, yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember when we saw him, he played a lot of everything. That was the gimmick. Because we saw him in 2010.
Yeah, it was early.
9, 10, something like that.
It was like right at the start of Devin Townsend project because it was Hyperdrive, which is the first project record, which is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, exactly. So. Okay, so no dates past Euro right now, so only European dates right now. Everybody's posted, so
he'll come back
yet. Also, another thing I learned in that interview that I watched. Did not know this. Did not know that for strapping young lad, another reason why he doesn't like going back to that and whatever, and he's kind of over it or done with it, and people keep asking about it. The reason why he's done with it is because like the recording process, he would go off his meds and he would allow himself to kind of go crazy, and that's how he did the records.
One of the bigger, I think it's City is the record you're referencing. I don't think he did that for every record,
Okay.
but City is the one he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be off the meds. He takes medication for depression and all the other shit. So,
Yeah.
But he was off. He deliberately went off his meds to write that record. So City is a
Yeah.
really fucking crazy, intense record. It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was a totally different person back then.
Yeah.
He's a totally different human being with his wife and I think he has one daughter with his kids. So yeah, he's a totally different human being. Yeah, because he did a lot of, I mean, he toured with Steve Vai. He played on a
wow.
Steve Vai record when he was like 18, and Steve Vai
Virtuoso
kind of
stuff.
discovered him. And then he sings. I can't remember what Steve Vai record he sings on, but he toured with him, and he was a dick to Steve, and like he took a shit in one of his guitar cases and shit one time, and
Jesus
like
Christ.
got kicked off the tour and shit. And they later made up. Like Steve Vai does a big intro on one of the big Ziltoid shows. He did a bunch of big runs at the Royal Albert Hall, and he did a bunch of runs over there and played all the project records there. And Steve Vai does an intro for one of the songs there. So like they eventually made up, but there's a lot of regrets that he had in life. So maybe that's why he doesn't want to revisit that shit. And also, I think he's kind of over just playing death metal too. So like, you know, eventually you got to expand your wings for most people. So especially when you're that good. So
for sure, he does everything. I know you're a massive fanboy for everything that he ever does.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I still remember just that night when we saw him with Between the Buried and Me. That's still the loudest show ever. I got a sound concussion. That's totally real thing that happened.
But that was a tiny place too. Yeah,
very tiny place, and he was loud as shit. And Between the Buried and Me was loud as shit, and it was a whole thing. Like very crazy, very very crazy. But yeah, I never knew that. I thought it was really interesting and really obviously very irresponsible from a human standpoint with a self preservation standpoint. Very irresponsible. But that sounds like something that you would do when you're obviously making crazy records and shit. I guess that's something that crazy guys do. But
100%,
fucking insane. So there you go, Devin Townsend. That's awesome. All right, so my last one that I had here. So one of my favorite bands, again, another Arizona band that I've talked about a few times here on the podcast before, a band named Jimmy Eat World. So they have their first like real record is a record called Static Prevails, and they put it out on Capitol way back when, and so that was out of press for a good long time, and then they got it repressed, I want to say in 2012, 2013, something like that. Shop Radiocast put it back into press, and they changed the album artwork later on CD because the record came out in 96. The CD came out a little bit later, obviously, and they had a new album artwork when that CD came out of like bar stools and stuff. It's a little bit different, but they never actually repressed the original album artwork until this year. So this is the original album artwork for Static Prevails, and it's I believe it's like it's a field, and they're like it's like flowers or something or other. Like wheat fields. I don't remember. I've seen somebody talk. They got to talk about it. So it's the first pressing of this. Hold on. So I also have. So this is the first one that I have the original press right here. So this is the repress from 2012, 2011, something like that.
Yeah, that's the only one I've ever seen.
14. Yeah. So this is the repress. And that's just the. I guess I don't know if it's stools or seats.
Yeah,
or
it is.
Typewriter. I don't know.
Maybe.
So so that's the repress album artwork, and then here's the original album artwork.
Interesting.
So there's that. And then so Box Band put this out. They're like I guess like from what my gathering is, they're like a Vinyl Me Please kind of thing. They do special pressings of things and special color variants and stuff like that. But they're the first ones to put out the original pressing album artwork, so I was super stoked on that. And they also put out a little zine as well. So, like in here, they have
that's sick.
Interview and blurbs and stuff, and track by tracks and old pictures and things like that, and interviews with Jim and Rick and the whole band, the whole Zach and everybody, and they just talk about every song and stuff, and they have old posters, old all that kind of cool
Very
stuff.
cool.
And so I was super stoked to pick this up. It originally was like $45 or something or other, and I didn't buy it initially because I was like, all right, well, it'll go down, right? It has to. And I finally won. I finally won one, Ty, and it did go down. It went down to like $26. I bought this on
Mhm.
eBay actually, so I waited and I ended up getting it for a proper price. It's a
Mhm.
double LP, and it's
Nice.
clear with like a smash yellow blue, possibly, I guess, in there.
Yeah.
And still has the original Capitol labels on there as well, which is super sick. I
Uh-huh.
appreciate that tremendously. I also appreciate they were able to license this away from Capitol for something kind of special and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, double LP, and very excited to be able to pick this up and to add this to the collection because as a massive Jimmy Eat World fan, I would love to have as much as I can for the variants and pressing and stuff, and I have most everything at this point. I have quite a few copies of all the different records and stuff that are out there, and would like to maintain that. So I was very excited that they were able to press the original artwork finally up and whatever. I actually even contemplated the artist, the photographer, I guess. He posted up prints of the original artwork as well,
Mhm.
and I debated purchasing them, but at the time they were a tad bit expensive, so I
Gotcha.
was like, I'm fine. I don't need it. But yeah, so
Gotcha.
Jimmy World Static Prevails first record repress. The record's cool too. Like it's very much so like a mid '90s alt rock record. Like it doesn't really sound anything like. It doesn't sound exactly, at least. It sounds there's little things here and there, but for the most part, it's a very different sound than what the clarity of their next record would be. And the big song, if you want to say big song on here, is Rockstar. So that's like it's kind of funny. Like Rockstar it just sounds like a mid '90s alt rock song. It just sounds like a
Mhm.
radio song. Like it's very different what they did. Call It in the Air was the other song on here. Robot Factory is a big one for the fans off here. And then Anderson Mesa, another one, and Episode 4, another song. Like there's a few on here. Thinking that's all. I think they still play that from time to time. So there's a handful of songs on here that they do still pull out from time to time,
Gotcha.
but for the most part, it's kind of a lost gem.
So
But
so
it's a
that
different band.
that pressing came out this year.
Yeah, that got released this year.
Oh, very cool.
So
Very
that
cool.
was a very cool thing to see that would finally be done because the Jimmy World stuff actually got really expensive this year. I think
Oh,
they
okay.
just repressed Bleed American and I think Futures too, or as well. And for a couple years there, because I remember I told you Zach was trying to buy vinyl or is buying vinyl now, and he
Yeah.
was looking stuff up and it was like 70, 80, $100 for a lot of stuff. And I was like, okay, well, hang out for a little bit. Don't buy that shit yet. Hang out. It'll be
Yeah.
repressed. It all makes sense at a certain point. And so,
Yeah.
yes, I think everything now is kind of coming back into the press. So if you're into Jimmy World and you want to buy vinyl, it was a little bit, hard to come by in the last couple of years, but now I think it's kind of coming out there and there's new pressings, just basic black, I believe. And
Gotcha.
I would recommend picking those up if you have the option to.
Very cool. Well, thanks for showing that because I'd never seen that picture before. So
Oh yeah.
interesting. I just like to add that into the knowledge bank that had a different cover. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't think I bought this with you. This is the original press. I think I got
Yeah.
this at Zia Tempe, and also another thing that's cool about this is that I also forgot I had that, but it comes with a 7-inch. So it came with all the original press came with all the 7 inches and
Oh,
whatever,
cool.
and something else that I don't think I ever showed you, but I added this. I also bought a press pack from an old K Rock rep
Oh,
in LA
sick.
last year. So like this is the original press pack they sent out to be booked on things or whatever. So this is an original heavy Kodak 8x10,
Yeah.
and then has the breakdown of the band and just little write ups by Capitol. This is all
Yeah.
original stuff. It's all
Awesome.
original paper and things. And then they also have that's the tour dates and stuff like that that are coming up in 1997. I guess it
Wow.
would be October 4th, 96, coming up later that year. So end about 96. And then press clippings, which includes a lot of old zine prints and like
Very
scans.
cool.
And they look like shit. And I don't know why you would include these necessarily to like random people, but like it's cool to see their old interviews, and they're just like I said, they're fanzines from random places around the country, and there's a few in here from ASU fanzines too, which is kind of funny to read now.
That's cool.
But yeah, so there you go. Anyway, June World, love it. Go on, next one.
Very, very cool, man. Very cool. All right. Let me, because I know Tyler doesn't have anymore, so let me kind of get through mine. Some of these I've already shown, but I just wanted to mention them again. One of them, it's I have a lot of releases from one band, and I didn't know when I was going to get the opportunity to ever talk about this band potentially ever again. So unless I was going to pick up more of their stuff, but I'm almost done. There's only one more album that I need for the band. So, but anyway, let me show off this, which I've shown us before. This behemoth. This is not the behemoth, not the band, but this is the Celtic Frost box set. I've shown this off to Tyler, and there's a unboxing on the channel if you want to know more about this box set. So I'll just mention that came out this year. Alrighty, and let's go to one that Tyler and I both picked up actually. Record Store Day back in April. Offspring, the greatest hits. Absolutely adore this. It's just nostalgic for me, for sure. And just absolutely stoked to add this collection. This is on blue. So that's the difference. You can get this right now. This just was a Record Store Day first. So
yeah. I mean, Offspring greatest hits. I mean, that's I mean, I had Americana, but I only had Americana. I had Americana, and then I bought the greatest hits. That's all I had. So I never was able to.
Back in the day.
So I never actually had anything in between or before that. So I never had Splinter. I never had Ixnay. I never had Smash. I never had anything else. I just had Americana, and then went.
Then
that's all I got.
Gotcha. Obviously, I was exposed to all of it from Josh. So
yeah, from the jump. So there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking finally had the greatest hits.
Move to one that came out earlier this year. Watain, Swedish black metal band, still dropping records. This is their newest one. This is The Agony and Ecstasy of Watain. That's the name of the album. This is red with rainbow splatter, which looks fucking awesome. So I do want to take it out.
Ooh, that is very cool.
Almost like a blood red right there.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool record. Probably not my favorite by them, but just more typical Swedish black metal. Honestly, Watain's not rewriting the book. They're very just straightforward black metal, and just more good shit by them. So I figured I'd throw it in there. It came out this year. So
I remember we saw them at a very small venue here, and don't they do crazy things on stage?
Basically a bar. Yeah, they do. They didn't hear.
Did not. So, I remember asking them, I was like, "Are we gonna get crazy like blood or like?"
I didn't know.
Yeah. And yeah, you said, "I don't know. I don't know. Maybe." And then they didn't do it here. I guess kind of luckily because I didn't really want to get raw or dead animals in my face because we were right there.
Yeah, because that's where they were playing a bar. They were playing at a bar basically. So.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, move to one. I don't think Tyler's picked this up yet. Alice in Chains Dirt, the 30th anniversary repress came out. This is just the black. I know there's a couple different cuts of this. This one sounds good to me. I know the Walmart cut sounds pretty good too. So
yeah, that's what I think. I'm just gonna get the Walmart cut whenever I find it. I haven't seen it in stores yet, but I'm pretty sure you can buy it online. So I just haven't done it because I'm stupid.
Gotcha. Definitely.
I'll wait till it gets expensive, then I'll buy it.
Yeah, definitely would highly recommend it, and I would it might actually get expensive because Alice in Chains shit tend to get expensive. So I don't know if they will keep this in press because it's the anniversary and it's just going to keep selling, but I don't know. But obviously one of my favorite records of all time and just a classic record.
Yeah. I saw somebody on the vinyl Reddit actually post up that they got the Alice in Chains Unplugged record. And I remember we used to see that because it got pressed, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever. I don't remember. But it got pressed. We used to see it. And then it was like, this is my Grail. Finally got my Grail or whatever, right? And I was like, I guess like that is expensive now. That's $100, right?
I think Music on Vinyl did a pressing of it. I never had it, honestly.
Yeah, you never,
because it's kind of hard to come by. Yeah, so I don't.
We saw it.
I don't think the dude's lying.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like, it's weird to think, like, because I feel like we did see that at least a handful of times in my life. I've seen that, and back in the day, at least, right? And now it's a different story because it's just everything's expensive from them.
Yeah,
they at least have not repressed anything in quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, all the Williams shit's expensive, which sucks because I had it all. Even the newest record is expensive.
Jesus.
All right,
Yeah, Music on Vinyl 2010 is $210 on Discogs right now.
the Unplugged.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I that's one I absolutely want to have in the collection, but not for that money. I'll wait until
Yeah.
it'll eventually get a repress. So
Yeah.
it'll eventually come back around. Everything does. Ghost with their newest record came out this year. Was early this year, so it doesn't feel like it. But I listened to it a shit ton because it was in my Spotify. A lot of the songs were in my Spotify top playlist. So Ghost with their newest record, Impera. This is the Zia Records exclusive Blue Smoke vinyl. This is actually decent money on Discogs. I think it's like the median was like $80. I think when I looked it up earlier today. Trying to remember releases. So yeah, Blue Smoke. And I know Zia just did another variant of this with them. They've been doing a lot of variants with them.
Yeah.
Very cool. Blue Smoke, fun fucking record. Tyler, you would absolutely love this record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, have you listened to it?
I listened to because the single came out and it's popped in my Spotify. So listen to the first single, but I have not listened to the rest of the record.
You would absolutely love this fucking record because I know you like good production, and this record has absolutely excellent fucking production on it. Yeah, it sounds really good, and it's very, very catchy, very 80s hard rock ish, like kind of not hysteria level, but like hysteria, like Def Leppard, Ozzy type of stuff. And then there's also like show tune ish stuff on here. Like it's very interesting and very produced very well. I still like Ghost, even though they're way bigger than what they were when I discovered them at the first fucking album. And everybody loves them now, but it is what it is. I appreciate them for what they are, and I still take the records. And this is honestly the record that I like the most out of their last like 3 records. So
yeah, I feel like they keep putting stuff out every year. Every year they put a new record out.
Every couple years they do it. Every 2 or 3 years they do a new full length, but they always do like an EP or a live record in between. They keep the money flowing. That's for sure.
I just feel like I see Ghost shit pretty consistently in new releases and stuff. I just constantly see something there.
Yeah, I mean they're constantly they stay in the public consciousness too. They don't fall out of it. Absolutely adore this album cover too. Very cool.
You think he's like a multimillionaire at this point, right?
No, I wouldn't say that.
You don't think so?
One
of the biggest bands going in the scene. He's not a multimillionaire.
I mean, he might be. He might be. I mean, they've sold a shit ton of records recently, and they've been in. They got TikTok trended too.
Ooh, nice, good for them. I've always wanted some good bands get TikTok.
Yeah, so that's how you make the fucking money now. Honestly, this one came out this year. Abath, his solo project, the former lead singer of Immortal. When he left the band 2016, he started this project. This is his newest record. Dread Reaver came out this year. This is just on black, but it's limited to 2,700. Got a giant fucking poster that's badass of him. So very cool record if you're into black metal but want a more like rock and roll Motorhead approach. Check it out. Tyler might dig this too because I know he kind of digs that more straightforward kind of approach. It's less harsh.
It's not going in. You got it. It's not going right. So he left Immortal. Why did he leave Immortal?
Just lawsuit shit and just bickering and arguing back and forth. So
was he not an original member?
No, he was. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, he was. Oh, that's
it was him and Demon Oz were the 2 guys, and now it's just Demon Oz. He's got a new record coming out this year.
Yeah,
which under Immortal, which I'm excited about. Demon Oz does. So I like the last Immortal record too that Bath wasn't on, which is very good.
Yeah. But. Was there a schism, like a within the fan base, like a break, like somebody that went with so and so and so and so?
I don't think so. Like it's all this kind of more of the same shit. Like Immortal's still more heavy. That's way more like rock and roll Motorhead influence. I think that's kind of where he wanted to go with it. And I think it was just like rights to the band and control of the band. I think that's why they broke up. And I'm surprised there's even a new Immortal record even coming out because I thought it was going to be in weirdo legal limbo because I know
yeah.
the drummer wanted rights to it, and Demon Oz is the only original member left, and I'm surprised there even one coming out under the Immortal banner. So.
Yeah.
Anyway,
tangent.
Go
real
ahead.
Quick.
Yeah.
Sorry. Completely
no worries.
off base of what we're talking about, but kind of not.
No, go ahead.
Have you seen the new lawsuit with Neil Sean and
We'll
Jonathan
get there.
Cain?
We'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there. It's coming.
Okay. All right.
I've been preparing.
Okay.
So this, yeah. Let me get to this one. More King's X. This is an original pressing of Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. So this is it's 1989. Yes.
Oh, wow.
This is 1989 Megaforce.
Oh, nice. I never saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got this at Zia this year, Zia Thunderbird.
Ooh.
One night, and it was before the baby, so it was many months ago. And it was Anna and I went there, and I just saw this and randomly was looking through the K's. I think I was looking through like Killers and Kiss stuff, and just looked through, and this was randomly in the K's, and absolutely had to get this. This record fucking slays. This is my favorite record by the band. One of their biggest records, probably. And it's just awesome. And to find an original Megaforce pressing was just fucking
how much?
Great. I love this album.
30, 25, 30.
Want to say it was like 35, $40, which is still pretty cheap, honestly.
Yeah. Because you're factoring in two levels there. You're factoring in 80s metal prog or whatever, right? And then you're also factoring 89. And you're factoring original pressings. There's a few different little layers to that, for the pricing. That's crazy. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, I was definitely excited to get that. So now we'll get to kind of what you were talking about. One of my favorite releases this year by Journey. This is live in Houston. One of my favorite live records of all time. Was finally stoked to get this on vinyl. This is the Target pressing. Sounds fucking excellent on vinyl. Highly, highly recommended. If you're into Journey and you haven't heard this for whatever reason, check it out. And if you can get the Target variant, it sounds awesome. I'm sure the other variants sound good too, but very cool. So let's kind of get into what's going on. I'll show off the other thing that they had come out this year that I do enjoy. This is Freedom. This is their new album. I do enjoy this. It's a little long. It's like an hour and 15 minutes, but I do enjoy it. The songwriting's Journey. They sound really good on it. A lot of good catchy ballads, good arena pop rock that Journey can write.
Love it.
Now, the fucking lawsuits for this band. Like, I'm going to rant for a little bit and I'll let Tyler take the floor for a little bit too. Like, this fucking band is a fucking joke now. Like, Neil and Jonathan are both fucking clowns. Like, seriously, Steve was right for all these fucking years and he's wanted nothing to fucking do with you guys, which is obvious. And he's smart because he just makes fucking money off you morons for you going out to do all the work. And Steve doesn't have to do anything.
Check every time.
Yep. He's a fucking genius. And Steve is a weirdo himself. But you guys fucking outclass him in that aspect in every fucking respect.
Every time.
I like this fucking record. I really do. I wish you guys could just fucking get along and just make fucking music. And just not be fucking weirdos. But instead, you all want to pretend to still be rock stars and have these weirdo fucking wives and hate each other and feud and sue each other. Have multiple lawsuits going on with other band members too. It's fucking ridiculous. It really fucking is, man. It's sad as a Journey fan. It's sad as an R&L fan who appreciates the time that dude has put in. And the records that he's done, that it just gets overshadowed by the stupid shit. Yeah, honestly, Steve was right. And I'm glad that he's fucking gone. And obviously, if he came back, I would go in a heartbeat. But if he never does, I'm not going to be fucking broken because I understand why he doesn't want anything to do with you fucking guys. Because you're insane. Now, to talk about the lawsuits, I guess. There's multiple fucking lawsuits. So where do you want to begin? The latest one is that fucking the guy who wrote the fucking. I understand I guess what Neil's coming from is he doesn't want the band to be political, which is hard because or like religious, which is fucking weird because like there's Jonathan has written religious Christian songs on recent Journey records that Neil's played on. So it's like this isn't a revelation to you.
Yeah. I guess he's about overt Christianity or religion,
sure,
or overt politicized of the music.
I guess even though I can point to songs on this record and other records, recent records, especially that Jonathan has written that Neil plays on. So it's like this isn't a revelation to you. Also, you know who his wife is. So this isn't a revelation. So if you don't know about the lawsuit, political aspirations aside, whatever leanings aside. So I don't know where Tyler stands on this, but I know where he stands politically. So I'd be curious to hear his take on this. So Jonathan played Don't Stop Believin' at the Mar-a-Lago for Trump and other fucking conservatives, Republicans, whatever. That's it. Whatever. So Neil sends a cease and desist to the guy who wrote the song with him that you can't play that song. What does that even mean? I don't understand it.
No, not at all. So I saw that yesterday, or yesterday this morning. I saw that, and I was like, "What the fuck are we doing here now?" Because as we talked about, there's been many lawsuits. I don't know how the fuck you went for 30, 40 fucking years, even with the Perry shit. There was not a big lawsuit from that. Like Perry left and whatever and dipped out, and then they got Steve Algieri and they got fucking another guy and they got Arnell or whatever, right? So like there was no big lawsuits, but over the last like 5 years now, it seems maybe less than fucking 5 years, 4 years, there was multiple lawsuits. In regards to the most recent with the cease and desist, it's fucking stupid. Okay, I understand what you're fucking trying to say. I get it. Whatever, right? Like, it's fine. And I would love to believe that Neil would, if he was playing for a fucking liberal fucking cause, I would love to believe if Neil's all true and it's all real and he's being serious, I would love to believe that he would fucking do the same thing. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't. I have no idea. I don't know the man. But the guy wrote the song. It's his fucking song. If he wants to go fucking perform it for anybody, whatever, you can think he's a fucking asshole, he's a weirdo, a dick, whatever the fuck, whatever you want to do, man. Cool. You shouldn't send a fucking cease and desist order for the fucking guy that wrote the fucking song, the guy that you fucking been in a band with for 40 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's insane to me. Ty and I both have this very fucking real fucking sense here that after 40 fucking years, you're in a fucking band with somebody, you just, it's fucking insane for you to, one, break up in a really ugly, weird way, because you're basically fucking family and brothers at that point. It's fucking insane to think that you're gonna fucking fight with somebody who you've been in such a close fucking relationship with for 40, 55 fucking years. It's insane to me. And I think Ty as well. But you're fucking on stage with this dude every fucking night. You fucking have shared fucking the squillions of fucking shows and conversations, and also you're both squillion fucking heirs. You both have more money than fucking Davy Crockett here. You don't need to fucking fight about this shit. Okay, like, whatever you want to think about him and his wife and this and that, whatever the hell, cool. Do, like, think that. It's, again, kind of odd to me that apparently it's this fucking contentious within a relationship with somebody that you just wrote a record with fucking a year ago. It's super crazy to me, and especially considering his wife, who is the religious advisor to Trump or whatever that means. I don't know what that all means. Cool. But apparently she's even kind of a weirdo in those circles. So whatever that's worth. But like, you knew that, you're already in it. You've also met her. Like, you do this. Like, you've already been here before. So also, I don't
Neil's
know why
wife
you're
is not
now.
Exactly. Like,
is she weird too? I don't actually know.
Patron
saying.
Well, too? Neil's wife was the lady who snuck into the Obama dinner.
Oh, yes, she is. Fuck.
In,
but
like,
that was with her ex-husband, right?
With her ex-husband. And then she left. She abandoned her ex-husband. Her ex-husband thought she got kidnapped. And turned out she was just hanging out with Neil Sean. And then they got married.
That is the weirdest.
And she was on the Real Housewives of DC and shit. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like, Neil's wife is not exactly the patron saint of anything. She's on the other end of the spectrum of weirdo. So, like, none of these people are sane. That's kind of my whole point in this.
You're,
like,
so your wives are insane, and you're insane as well.
Yes, and I guess this new lawsuit is just petty because Neil. I guess Jonathan cut Neil off from, like, company credit cards, which because of frivolous spending and shit, which I don't know if it's true or not. And I know they're going to court for that too. I know that's a part of all this as well. So this new lawsuit just didn't come out of nowhere like, fuck you, I hate fucking Trump or whatever. It stems from this other shit too.
Yeah.
And this has been going on back and forth. And then you had Ross and Steve Smith try to get control of the band and get sued and kicked out. Like, there's just all this fucking drama. And it's just, get the fuck over yourselves. Either be a band or don't. Like, I don't understand it.
At this point, I mean, okay, whatever. At this point, it's very weird. If you're a fucking, I mean, you love Journey. And like, I like Journey too, but like, you're obviously way more than I am. It's so painfully obvious. Apparently, there's so much contention here that you're just playing for fucking money now. Like, it's just a money grab
100%.
for both of you. It's just a fucking job, which everybody's gonna make a living. But you're both fucking multi-millionaires.
You
should
both
have more money.
I mean, according to Jonathan and his camp, that they're spending and shit, like that's why they were using the credit card to like live. So maybe Neil doesn't have any fucking money. So I don't know.
You're fucking the dumbest motherfucker in the world.
I don't know. I truly don't know who to believe in any of this situation. Neither of them are reliable sources. So who knows?
So he's saying that Neil was putting fucking like bills and like his living expenses on the Journey credit cards.
They cut him off because of frivolous spending and shit, whatever that means. So I don't know. I have no idea. But my point is that you're right. If they don't have any, if Neil doesn't have any money, he's a moron.
Goddamn stupid.
And then Jonathan, whatever, if Jonathan wants to associate himself politically with whoever, it's well within his right to play his own song with whoever.
100%.
And whether you think that's right for the brand and the band is irrelevant. And you should be able to complain on Twitter about Jonathan and call him a moron and like, I don't want to be associated with this. Whatever. You're well within your right to be associated with 100%. Whoever you want to be too. But you can't sue the fucking dude for playing his own fucking song. What does it even mean?
Also, here's the fucking thing that's so fucking insane about it. So I don't know. From what I know, he played once at the fucking get together or whatever, the dinner thing. He played it once, and that was what he did, right? That's all he did, right? That's all. That's all as far as we know, right? So yeah, the cease and desist was over you playing a song once at a dinner or whatever the fuck with these people that you don't like. Or I know Neil's making it a point to not say that it's political. It's not political. Like, it's not overtly political. It's political in name, but not in like politics. Like, he doesn't want associations at all. That's what Neil wants to say.
That's what he claims. Yes.
Correct. So here's the thing. It's not like fuck. Okay, let's say you want to do that. You're still a dumb shit. Jonathan Cain played it once at a dinner. Jonathan Cain's not going on tour with these motherfuckers, calling it the Don't Stop Believin' Journey Through Time with Jonathan Cain and Donald Trump or whomever the fuck. It's not like he's trying to co-opt the fucking band to fucking make a whole new fucking life for themselves with the songs you co-wrote and whatever the hell. Like, I still don't know if you can even sue on that or make a cease and desist over it. I don't actually know. But, like, he's playing it once for the fucking dude or whatever the people. Like, I don't give a shit. Like,
his wife also worked for the administration. So if you cared, you would have tried to kick him out 4 years ago. Well, so I don't understand. But here's the thing.
Find out, you know that, right?
What's that?
That's the next thing we're gonna find out, right? Is that he was trying to kick me out fucking 6 years ago. He was trying to get rid of me then.
Here's the true fucking thing. And I was reading the whole Hoffman board forum about all this because there's a Journey drama thread on there. Great. So here's the whole and all those guys are going off like, well, finally they'll kick Jonathan out and Greg Rowley will come back and they can play all the old shit.
Christ.
Here's the thing. They do that. They did that, and it was called Journey Through Time. And here's the thing. Nobody fucking went to that. Because here's the thing. Nobody wants to hear those fucking songs. Because as great as fucking Jonathan Cain is, and or Neil is, I think he's a great songwriter. I think he's a very underrated guitar player. I think, to me, his guitar tone is one of my favorites ever. Okay? And his solos, everything about the dude. I absolutely love his playing. Not everything about the dude, but I love his playing and his songwriting ability.
Sure.
But here's the fucking thing. Here's the God's honest truth, bro. You would not know who fucking Neil Sean is without Jonathan Cain and Steve Perry. No. That's the God honest truth. And I'm not saying that he owes everything to those dudes. He doesn't. But it's asinine to be in a thread and go, well, they'll bring Greg Rowley back and they'll just keep playing. No. Because if he wants to keep spending and living the way that is being reported, then he needs to go make fucking money, and they're just
Yeah.
going to be playing the same fucking Steve and Jonathan fucking songs because they
So
were the fucking money makers in the band.
100%. So here's the thing. So if they kick Jonathan, out of- which I don't, again, we've talked about this ownership shit before. Like apparently Perry still has a pretty significant ownership in the band as
Yeah.
well, and gets paid
Yeah.
on everything that ever fucking has Journey's
Yep.
name on it. Which again, business wise, very smart. I don't know how you're kicking out
So with
Jonathan Cain,
Jonathan.
because I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming he
Yeah.
has another massive portion of ownership in the band as well. So I don't know how you're doing that. But here's the thing: like, I'm not doubting that Steve or that Neil Sean would make money if he went on Journey, because most people don't actually, or like your mom doesn't fucking know who Jonathan Cain is. She doesn't know who Neil Sean is either, though. So like,
Well, my
your
mom
would.
does.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
maybe Connie Brown here, but
Yeah.
you know, you're fucking most people's moms and fucking dads probably don't fucking know the ins and outs of these fucking people, right?
Yeah,
And
but
they're
these
probably
guys are
doing these.
these guys are thinking they're going to go play the first 3 Journey records,
Yeah,
like the
no,
pre-Perry stuff,
yeah, the next record and shit and all
which
that
isn't
other
going to
shit and
happen.
everything else.
Yes.
No, listen up here. I'm not downing your musicianship, your talent, whatever the fuck, but you're absolutely fucking right. There's a reason why the fucking first 3 Journey records, you don't know anything about the fucking band at all, because they're fucking weird jam band Santana fucking rip-off fucking shit. He was a fucking virtuoso 14-year-old in Santana's band, and that was a whole fucking huge deal thing, whatever. He was striking on his own with the fucking guys from the band and making his own thing. It wasn't until he fucking got the pop stars in the fucking band that anyone didn't give a fuck about the fuck you were doing. Okay?
And it wasn't even him;
Like,
it was Herbie.
yes,
So that band was put together to make hits and make money. That was the point. That's why they brought in Steve and then later Jonathan. And that's what worked. And that's what they still tore on. And that's where they make money, for better or worse. I don't care. Go make your money. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't go to a Journey concert like to complain about the set list. Like, I know what I'm going to hear. So it is what it is. But like, it's asinine to be in a thread and talk about, yes, they're going to go play these old songs because they're going to kick Jonathan out. First of all, yes, go ahead and kick Jonathan out. Then you're going to be paying 2 dudes probably more money than you make to not be there. So it's like trading a dude in baseball, and you're paying him 15 fucking years later, 10 years later, whatever it is. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
It makes
it's no sense.
Just make the fuck up. Get over it. You both have different political beliefs and religious beliefs, whatever. You're both fucking weirdos. So you both have weirdo fucking wives, and you're both attention grabbing, ego maniacal fucking weirdos.
And you're immature as fuck. And
yes,
you're and here's the thing, like, you're a big fan of that new record. I imagine a lot of people are. I imagine a lot of people are a big fan of that new record, right? Maybe people that
I've
are
heard good
out from the
things.
band. So like people that are out of the band, so you have momentum here. You made a cool record. People like it. They probably want to go see you on this next tour. Maybe you can play fucking to more people than what you played before. Grant you, I mean, the Journey catalog, like we talked about that record. Like it's amazing you made a new record, because you could tour in the Journey catalog forever and still play, you know, pretty healthy venues or whatever, right? But they made a choice to make a new record, and that's awesome. Good for them. But you're fucking ruining any momentum that you fucking had from this new record by fucking bickering about the stupidest shit in the fucking world. So if there's inner band fucking management, business, money, fucking troubles or some shit, I guess that's one thing. That's something you have to fucking bring up and you have to fucking figure out and whatever. But when you're fucking fighting over political beliefs, whatever you know, religious, whatever the fuck, you're fighting over this thing that happened once. That's never, or I don't know if it's ever going to happen again, but it's not going to happen again for a long fucking time. He's not making a new career of it. He's not co-opting your shit. He's played this song that he wrote for the fucking guy that you may or may not like. Who knows? I don't know your fucking political beliefs. We want to be apolitical with Neil Sean's fucking statements here. But like, whatever, he's playing it once. You're fucking petty, you're immature, you're fucking weird. Like, I don't fucking like the guy, but I don't give a shit. Fucking play the fucking song for him. Who cares? Who gives a shit? You're fucking stupid as hell to ever fucking try to sue the guy you've been in a fucking band for 45 fucking years to play his own or because he played his own fucking song.
The only reason it's happening is because I don't even think Neil gives a shit about Trump or anything. The only reason it's happening is because they cut you off from the credit card, and that pissed you off. And then it also there was also the trademark shit.
Oh my god, I forgot about
this year. There's so much drama. There's so much fucking drama.
Because Perry had to sue them because they tried to trademark their song titles. And like, I get that to a certain respect why they would do that, but they tried to cut Perry out of it apparently, or Perry wanted more of it than what they wanted to give him or something around those lines.
Yeah,
And
it's
but
so
you're
hard to
trademarking
follow.
things. Yeah, no, 100%. So like, it's a bunch of money, and I get it, but like, I don't understand why the fuck are you wanting to be a band with your apolitical stance, but when it comes to money, seemingly, apparently, because there's lawsuits, you're trying to give more people more money here and there, and whatever the fuck, regardless of writing of the songs. I know "Don't Stop Believing" is the big one. Obviously, that's the big fucking trademark. Is that because that it should be? It fucking should be. But evidently, you're trying to get more money to Jonathan and to Neil than to Steve. I assume that's the deal, and that's why Steve fucking sued you. I don't think Steve is so much of a fucking idiot to be like, no, that's all my money. Give me my fucking money. I assume that's not what it's about. I think Steve wants an equal share.
Here's the truth about that song. This is what everybody's said and reported for years. Is they all had a hand in making that song. Jonathan brought the song title and the main hook, the chorus. That everybody knows. So as far as I'm concerned, Jonathan is basically owns the fucking song, because if you have the song title and the main hook, that's the song. And then Steve filled out a lot of the lyrics and shit. So as far as I'm concerned, he has more of a stake in the song than Neil. And then Neil wrote a lot of the solos and the songwriting aspect of it. So they all have a hand in the song, but like, you can't be, the dude played his own song. That's it. That's all it is. No. And you're just petty because you got cut off.
100%. And Neil, again, like we just said, if you're fucking broke, homie, if you're broke after you've had Journey money since healthy Journey money since 81, healthy Journey money since 81. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you've made a shitload of bad investments. Your divorces have fucking bankrupted you. You have shitty kids. I don't know what you did, man. I don't know if you paid off people secretly for some shit you may or may not have done. I have no fucking idea. Something happened to you, homie, and you have only yourself to fucking blame in a certain respect. Because if you can't handle 40, almost 45 years of really healthy income, I don't tell you, man. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
Yeah, you're living well above. You're living well above your means at that point,
bro. How much? What means are you living at if Journey can't pay your fucking bills? Like, do you need to have fucking Musk money over here, or fucking Bill Gates? Is that the money you need to fucking have? Like, I don't understand what we're talking about here. Like, it's fucking insane to me. If Journey had fucking, what do you think, 12, 14 solid fucking amazing fucking radio play hits, like, and you have the biggest digital song of all time. Grant you, that's more new money than old money, but that song was still fucking crazy, everywhere popular for fucking 2 decades prior. I don't know, man. Like, you're a bitter weirdo, like, and you're pissed off that maybe you may or may not be fucking broke, and you feel like, because also you think about it too, is like, I think he knows as well, even though he's the leader of the band or some shit. I think this about, like,
we've
for
talked
example,
about that.
Yeah, like, you're not the guy. Like, if Steve Perry toured regularly, if Steve Perry toured from 96 to today and sang all the fucking songs and did the whole thing and had a cool band and shit like that, Steve Perry would be above them on a bill somewhere.
He's doing bigger business.
Festival, exactly. The festival would show Steve Perry headlining and Journey in the second bracket 100% of the time. That's just the case. It's the fact of the matter. It's similar to right now, different. We just talked about it, but Oasis. So Liam being the voice in the fucking band, he didn't write the songs, by the way, but he was the voice of the fucking band. Liam would headline over Noel every day of the week in the UK and otherwise right now, because people associate Liam's voice and Liam's fucking because he's the lead singer, he's the front man, his look, his fucking everything. They associate him with the band more than they associate you, even though you wrote the fucking songs. With Neil, it's the same thing. So with Steve Perry, the front man, like, they're associating him with everything before they associate you. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, homie. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. You have to accept that. Don't lose your fucking legacy on. Don't tarnish it anymore by having these fucking weird spats about him playing a fucking song one time. Get the fuck.
It's just the weird spats in general. Like, everything's out in the air. It's the credit card.
Yeah.
You know about the trademarks. You know about everything because they air everything. A lot of it's Neil is the airs everything. It's just weird. And I know you're right. He's insecure because Steve is the voice and he's still the face of that fucking band. And he hasn't been in the band in fucking
25 years.
Almost, yeah, I guess. And realistically, almost 40 years, 30
true.
years.
30 years.
Like
30 years,
and actually touring and being out there. And then Jonathan's wrote a lot of those hit fucking songs. He was the hit maker that needed to be in the band to really make the money. So like, yes, I understand why he's insecure about it, but like, just get the fuck over yourself. You made a shit ton of money. You're a great fucking guitar player. I'll just get along. Like that's it. And
you spent all of it.
And to wrap this up, to wrap the journey segment up, which I'm not going to cut out, but I will definitely clip this and post this at its own Vatican video, basically, is like, just get the fuck over yourselves. Like you're tarnishing any legacy that you ever had, first of all. And Steve, never come back, never give him the benefit of the doubt because they need you. They need you way more than you need them.
Steve is fucking the air in their fucking lungs. Like they need Steve to fucking live. If Steve Perry came back for a 10-week fucking tour, that would be the most money they would ever fucking see in their lives. And Steve can make just as much fucking money not doing shit. So Steve, stay at home in San Francisco, stay in your basement making fucking music or some shit maybe and looking crazy on the internet. Stay doing that, homie. Love it. Do your thing, homie. Do your thing. Ignore the fucking idiots in your former band. Don't fucking talk to them again. And whatever, just keep cashing those checks because that's a lot better fucking life than apparently they're fucking living because they're both weirdo fucking insecure old men that hate the fact they don't own their own legacy and they hate the fact that you do after 40 fucking years of not being associated with them, 30 years not being associated with them. So you people are just fucking insane. I hate the fact that at a certain point it seems like this is what's going to turn into just lawsuits.
That's what it is.
I hate it. It's fucking
stupid. Just break up at this point. Just do your own fucking things at this point.
Yeah. Go do Journey Through Time. Go do Journey Through Time. Go do the band. Neil. Yeah. Go do it. Seriously. Go move to India. Move to India. Like get the fuck out of here, you ass.
Yeah. Yep. It's just both of them. It's tiring. All right, let me finish this up. I got a good stack here, but like I said, a lot of it's one band. I do want to talk about Fear Factory real quick. This came out this year. This is their first record, Soul of a New Machine. Got a repress on. Actually, it's the first time it ever was on vinyl from Run Out Groove, and I absolutely adore this record. If you're into industrial death metal, this is a great, one of the most underrated fucking bands to me ever. Because they should have been way bigger than what they were. Because to me, they had the metal kind of vibe, but they had like the Nine Inch Nails industrial vibe too, and just absolutely fucking killer shit. And this is an absolutely awesome debut. And this comes with it's 3 LP, and then you get a bunch of remixes on here too, which Fear Factory always had cool remixes. So
96 and A5.
This is 92.
Oh wow, that looks futuristic for 92 at that point. Like
they were way ahead of their time, man. And this is my favorite record, Demanufactured, the shirt I'm wearing, and that had all the Terminator fucking vibes too. And they used all the Terminator like samples and shit. It's way fucking cool. Way
also, even on that cover right there, it looks pretty Terminator-y with the
the red
the pixelation, all the stuff and everything. It looks really cool.
Yeah. So absolutely adore that. This is on like a red, a white, and a blue. I won't pull it out because it's 3 LP, but it's definitely cool.
Very cool.
One thing I got at Comic-Con, I don't think Tyler's seen this. He might have. This is the Metal Gear Solid soundtrack. So bringing a video game soundtrack from Mondo. One of my favorite video game series, favorite games of all time, the PS1 classic. And Mondo does great fucking shit. I don't have a lot of their stuff because it's expensive, especially when it's expensive new, and then it's expensive when you can't buy it anymore. Yeah. And I think they're done with this. It, yeah, I paid a decent amount of this. This is just on the black, but cool gatefold there. So if you know about the game, you know the wolves.
That's awesome.
Like what that means. Use my head there, but yeah, got the back there. Cool artwork, very cool. Got Snake on the cover.
That's cool.
There is a green variant of this. It's even more expensive. So,
Ooh. How much was that at Comic Con?
I want to say I paid like 70 something for it, which is
When did
about
it
what
come
it
out?
is on Discogs. Shit, you're putting me on the spot. I want to say this is like 2018 or something.
So yeah, so it doubled in price in a couple years. Like that was it. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and the green one's even more fucking expensive than that.
I'm shocked it was just that much. I would assume it'd be much more than that actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's still a decent, it's still more than I like to spend, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it's still, and it's just going to go up because a lot of that shit they don't repress. So,
and if they do, it's years and years apart. So, they're not going to get a repress on that forever if it happens.
Yeah, exactly. All right, these next one I'm going to run through kind of quickly because there's a lot, but a lot of this is one band, and a lot of their catalog got repressed this year and a little bit in 2021, which I also have those records too. But these are the latter records, and a lot of this is Sabotage. And I wanted to show these off because these are really fucking cool pressings, man. And this is a really cool way to get. It's an expensive way to get into the band, but I've always appreciated the band, and it's been fun to dig into this. So everything is they have black variants, but they also have a colored variant of everything that they've done this year. And this is Dead Winter Dead. So this is one of their later 90s records. A lot of this stuff has never been pressed on vinyl. That's awesome. So I haven't shown this to Tyler, and I wanted to because a lot of this is gatefold. And here's the height cool artwork too. Yeah, this particular is 96, I think, like 95, 96. Awesome. So cool artwork here. And you get a gatefold. The band in there. Awesome. And then all of these, I won't pull out everyone, but I just wanted to pull out one to represent like what you get on these. All of these, you get nice inners with pictures. Awesome. And then you get almost everyone comes with a giant book. Ooh. And the book has write-ups on the band and at the time and the tour and making the record and shit. And I mean, just paragraphs and paragraphs shit. So very cool. Some of these even come with like extra EPs and shit that came out at the time, or they come with like replica like tour posters and shit at the time. Yeah. So that is very cool. So just want to highlight these as well. This is the most recent one that's come out. The new one's coming out in the US like next month. So I get that in a couple weeks. But this is the Wake of Magellan. So there's the hype sticker here. So a lot of these are concept records, especially in the end, towards the end of the band. That's awesome. This is all on orange. And this is a lenticular cover. That's cool. And then you got the actual cover there. And then again, just a really heavy sleeve and a gatefold. And Sabotage is like, they get very operatic and like kind of Queen-esque later, very more like hard rock, power metal-ish at the beginning of their career, US power metal. But yeah, I absolutely just adore this giant book in here. Just so fucking cool.
When
get pictures of the band
with that much effort, that's always fucking, because if you do a straight repress, that's one thing, I guess it's fine, whatever. But if you're putting out a fucking repress, especially if you're charging more money than a standard fucking record's going for, put fucking extra liner notes in there, put the fucking 100%. Write-ups, put like whatever, like it's more fucking, it takes more time, whatever, from the bandmates that are, still with us or whatever, right? But it's fucking awesome for the fans, because how often are you gonna fucking be writing about these fucking songs, or about the 7th song on the 3rd record, like that no one maybe cares about? It's fucking
never again.
You talk about the fucking song, or talk about this or that.
A lot of this 90s shit. This isn't 90s. This is Hall of the Mountain King. I won't pull this one out, but this is a gold. But a lot of this stuff, 90s shit, is never seen vinyl. So it's really cool to do something special. Ear Music did all of these. So shout out to them, man. They did a really good fucking job. I bought every one so far. I'm done. I'm waiting on the last record that comes out here, like I said, in a couple weeks. I've got it pre-ordered. So that'll be coming. This is Hall of the Mountain King. This is my favorite record they ever did. This record fucking slays. This is 86, I want to say. I'm not gonna pull all these out for the sake of time, but I'll just keep showing them. But just to show you, I pulled out two. Like every record's like that. It comes with this type of stuff. So this is Streets. This is a rock opera. So this is kind of when they get way more Queen-esque. This is on blue. And again, like I said, everything is gatefold.
That's awesome.
And get all the extra shit in there.
Are they're about 30 bones?
These are like 30, 35. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them,
for, though, which is nice.
Almost all of them are 2LP. And if they aren't on 2LP, some of the early ones, they come with like bonus EPs. So like you get 7 inches and shit in them. This is what is it? What is it? This is Gutter. Yeah, this is Gutter Ballet. This is a really good record.
That's awesome.
It's on like a kind of a gold marble. And again, like I said, all these came out in 2022. So they've just been pumping them out. Handful of Rain. Cool. That's on a blue.
That's awesome.
Very cool. This is a really good record. I really enjoyed. Anna liked this record too. Edge of Thorns.
Ooh.
Very cool. This is on like a yellow.
Nice. That's
like
awesome.
I said, gatefold. Everything comes with those books, write-ups, and you get some bonus shit and extra ones. One of them, I think I got a slip mat. Actually, one of the earlier records that I'm not showing off that because that came out in 2021. So just fucking really cool run.
Yeah.
And it's cool I'm going to have the whole catalog here in completed next month.
That's crazy.
And then the last thing I'll show off, and then we'll wrap this. This has been an extra long episode, but it's been fun. This is the Ramones box set that came out for Record Store Day in April. I figure I'll close on that one. So you get almost all the 80s stuff. It's funny. It says the Ramones 80s albums, but you don't get End of the Century, which is the Phil Spector album. Yeah. So there must be rights issues. I don't know. It's a Sire album, so I don't know why it's not in there. It's just something to do with him, I guess. Obviously,
we talked about that. I don't know because like because he obviously he produced a lot of records in his lifetime. I haven't heard of anything else being kind of wrapped up in rights issues. I know obviously because he's a murderer and his money is going to other places right now.
Not great shit.
Yeah, not great things. I think his money's wrapped up in like paying off certain people that families that he affected and things like that.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, but I have not heard anything besides us talking about it with this. So I don't know if it's still a Sire record. That just seems weird to me that they would have an issue with that in the box set.
I don't know, but you guys still get 81 to 89, so I don't really know why. But anyway, this is a really cool set. Everything's just on black. It's all on 140 gram, but it's all sounds good. The one bonus that's weird, the bonus set in here with a bunch of rarities and stuff, that's the one colored variant. I don't know why they just couldn't do them all colored.
They just do a straight repress of everything, didn't they? Everything just
pretty much. Yeah. It's just a straight repress, but it's cool to get it all in one set. A lot of this stuff was expensive, so obviously you get the classics on here. Brain Drains, that was great. You get Pet Cemetery on there. All this stuff's really good. I've listened to this whole thing by now. Yeah. So really cool set. We'll close on that. It's cool. I've been like getting in more into the Ramones as I get older, and it's cool to just get everything like as far as their 80s stuff all at once.
So. Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, guys, that's it, man. That was a big one. That was fun though.
Yeah.
And then we had a lot of fucking tangents on there too. So let's
quite a few.
Yeah, I feel like I got a lot of clips to do. I feel like I could clip this and do clips.
You do a lot of things, yeah, for sure.
Like
do
the journey.
Neil can reference us in a tweet somewhere and be like, "They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. If anybody ever knew, it'd be amazing."
Hell yeah! I mean, I've given that man a good amount of money in my life, so that would be a pleasure for him to tell me to go fuck myself. So, anyways, guys, that is it. If you made it all the way this far, just give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, comment down below. What did you like? What have you been picking up? All that good stuff. It certainly helps the channel, helps us out, makes us feel good, makes us feel like we're doing good. So Tyler, we always close the episode out with choosing of next week's topic. So I chose this one to kind of the year-end wrap up because we are basically done. This will air basically the day after Christmas. So Merry Christmas belated to everybody out there who celebrates. What you got for next topic?
All right. Would you rather? Okay, I'm gonna give you options here. I'm gonna give you two options.
Oh, cool.
Would you rather go positive or negative?
Let's go negative. I feel like this one, outside of the journey, right, was a pretty positive episode. It was about
fair.
most shit that we enjoyed.
Yeah, so. True. Okay, fair. So it's top 5 bands you just don't get, that you don't get into, that you can't, that everybody loves, and you just don't get it, and you wish, maybe even you wish you did, but you just can't get there.
All right.
And you've tried, you've listened to it, and you've had people shove shit down your throat for fucking years, and whatever the hell.
Gotcha.
But it's bands that you just don't know. You just don't get it.
And
you can't do it.
I got one obvious one that just came to mind right now that might be on both of our lists. So nice. There might be some crossover here. So it might be a quicker episode.
Okay. Wait, question though. Are you going with, are you also incorporating most hated, or like, because I would rather, I don't know. Because most hated, I think would be a different list, but bands that you don't get, like, I don't know. It could go still negative, right? It still could go negative, but it's like bands like you wish you did, almost like even in a positive way. Like maybe, like, I don't know. It could go either way. What's your input on that?
What way do you want me to go? Because the way I'm interpreting, because some of these bands I may hate.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily hate them just because I don't get them. But I also don't get them. There's some bands that I understand that I just don't like. Like Slipknot, I understand the appeal of Slipknot. I just don't really like Slipknot at all.
Yeah.
I like some of the songs, but like most of the Slipknot I probably dislike.
Okay.
And just mostly because of their fans, probably.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Let's go with bands that you're not into, you don't get, whether it be positive or negative. You don't understand the appeal. You don't really or you do and you don't understand why everybody else gets it, whatever.
Yeah, some of the bands I'm choosing I probably hate, but there's probably some of them I don't necessarily hate. I just don't understand the appeal.
Okay, so that works.
But we could definitely do like most hated as well.
Yeah, we could also do that. Very, very true.
All right, so we'll keep it at that. We'll keep it as like bands you just don't understand. Fair. So, alrighty, guys. Again, thank you for watching the Living Deadwax podcast. This was a long one, but a fun one to kind of wrap up the year. We'll come at you next week with another episode with Tyler's topic, and we'll see you next time, guys. Peace.